Okay, then the control is yours.
Thank you, Light. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, to all our fellow Toastmasters and also guests from District 87, outside of District 87, wherever you are signing in to our workshop for today. Good evening, selamat petang, 大家晚上好, konbanwa. So that's the best that I can do in Japanese as well. So welcome to this workshop, which is called It's a Funny World. Out of all the activities that you could have done on a Saturday evening, you chose to be here, and it's going to be an amazing event. So what we're going to do before we start our workshop is I just want to run through a few house rules so that I can get every one of you ready for this particular event. So if you can hear me loud and you can hear me clear and you can see me on the screen, can you just put in okay into the group chat so that I know that you can hear me and see me clearly? Just want to make sure that I can take care of most of you in here tonight. Thank you so much for your response. Now, the field house rule number one, since this is going to be a 2.5 hours workshop, we just want to make sure that we can run it in a very smooth way. So as much as possible, try to turn on your video. It would be nice to look at moving human being rather than just black boxes with captions on it. So it'd be quite scary, right? So and it'll be quite daunting as well. So if we have live human being, we know that we are trying to enlighten human beings and not trying to make fun of black boxes only. So keep that on. We will take a photo towards the break time, towards the mid of the session, so that we can also use that as attendance as well. And also throughout the whole sessions, as much as possible, unmute yourself, not unmute yourself, sorry, mute yourself, so that we can have all the attention to our presenter, to our speaker for this evening. However, should you have any questions, feel free to unmute yourself so that you will be able to ask questions. Our presenters, our workshop presenters, our speakers are very, very enthusiastic, and they just couldn't wait for you to ask them more questions because they have so much to share with all of you. Now, I can see more of you are turning on your video, and I can see some of you are still shy, probably trying to put on some makeup. Don't worry, on Zoom, there is a video filter option, and that's one reason why you see that I have such smooth skin. No, I don't have any particular product that I'm using to make sure that I take care of my skin. It's just something called technology, something called video filter. You are able to adjust the filter as much as how you want it to be. If you want to look 20, find that filter. If you want to look 25, find that filter. If you want to look 50, I don't know that option, so maybe you need to ask someone else. All right, so once I know that, I can share that with you, but not at this moment. All right, so everyone, are you ready to begin this workshop for this evening? Are you ready to begin this particular workshop called It's a Funny World? If you are ready, can you just give me a heart shake or give me a thumbs up? Give me some reaction. All right, good. Now, to kick off our sessions, let's have our program quality director to give us his welcoming remark. Let's put our hand together for this man. They call him as Oppa. BTS are famous, but they can't compare to our program quality director. If he were to be in Korea, BTS would be ranked number 2 because he would be definitely the number 1 in terms of the Google search. So with that, I think he deserves a lot of heart shape. All right, so everyone on that reaction button, hit on the heart shape so that as I call on our program quality director, distinguished Toastmaster Agustinus Wijaya for his opening remark. Over to you, Agus.
Thank you, Alan. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters. Thank you for attending today's workshop. I joined Toastmasters 4.5 years ago to conquer my fear of public speaking. After only a few months, I joined Toastmasters. My mentor asked me to join a humorous speech contest as a contestant. Can you imagine that? Someone with a terrible fear of public speaking joining a humorous speech contest as a contestant? In my opinion, a humorous speech contest is way much harder than an international speech contest. Why, you might ask? It's because of the audience expectation. At a humorous speech contest, the audience expect to laugh. They wanted some laughter. And it is not an easy thing to write and deliver a good humorous speech. It takes a lot of knowledge, a lot of experience, a lot of practice to be able to write and deliver a good humorous speech. And that is why today we have another humorous speech workshop. I'm sure every single one of us already attended several educational sessions regarding humorous speech. But in my experience, I've always learned something new. I always learn new perspectives from different speakers. Every single time I've attended those educational sessions on humorous speech. So I believe today we will learn something new, and today's workshop will be beneficial for all of us. So thank you, distinguished Toastmaster Miranda Rumi, for organizing this workshop. Thank you, all the speakers, all the role players, and thank you, everyone, for attending today's workshop. So without further ado, let's enjoy today's workshop. Thank you, and back to you, Alan.
Right, thank you very much, Agus. Yep, he made a point, coming in, we talk about humor and why is it important to have humor, especially during this COVID time, we have been staying at home. And humor is such an important thing. And I think one of the reasons would be, especially for men like myself, married men like ourselves, understand the importance of humor so that we'll be able to have a peaceful household. We are at home with our wife and with our kids, and we are constantly being challenged by our wife with all sorts of different table topics. And if we do not know how to answer her questions in a more light-hearted manner, we would have an increased rate of divorce right after COVID. And that is the reason why for marriage people, it's not just only about humor, it is also a survival skill. So our first speaker or our first workshop presenter for tonight is no ordinary man. He is someone that I met in one of our advanced club. And this man is known for many, many talents as well. Jai became blind in his mid-30s, and he was compelled to change his career path from an architectural and visual design to becoming a professional speaker and trainer. So over the years, he started to look at the lighter and brighter side of things of life so that he could distract himself from all these challenges. Tonight, he lives his, not tonight, actually today, right now, he lives his life based on his mantra, which is out of sight, but not out of mind. What Jai would be sharing with us is how we could see humor. So with that, I would like to have everyone to give just hands and wave as hard as possible. Unmute yourself and cheer. Unmute yourself and cheer for Jai as we welcome him to take the stage. So everyone, please unmute yourself and say, hi, Jai.
Hi, Jai.
Right, over to you, Jai.
Go for it.
Thank you. So thank you, Toastmaster Alan. That's a lot of warmth and cheer all the way across the Bay of Bengal from Indonesia and Brunei to India, Bangalore, where I am currently located. And Toastmaster Alan, marriage is a matter of survival. That's a moot point to ponder. So thank you for bringing that up. All right. So a couple of things before I deep dive into today's topic, which is, of course, there is humor in life. It's just a matter of looking for it and finding it. And how do we do that? I would be frequently asking you all to unmute and shout out a few things when I asked you to do that. So please be prepared and do that all univocally, which means all together. Let's share this energy between us so that we are one big tribe here. We're just going to have fun. Now, before I move on to the main content, I'm going to ask Sharon to just share the first title slide, just the title slide. Yeah, sure. And leave it on that while I continue. Yeah.
Can you see this?
Right. Can all of you see that slide?
Yes.
Yes. Sure. Okay. Dokie. Manoj, can you read out the title?
Life can be funny. How to find humor in your life.
Good. Now you'll notice there's a picture of an orangutan. And of course, those of you, in Indonesia, Malaysia, know orangutan comes from two words, orang and utan, which is the man of the wild, the forest. Why is that picture there? Because you never know what to expect from this endearing animal. All right. And that's exactly the same with humor. You never know what to expect from someone who's speaking humor or narrating a funny story, a comic maybe. So they can be so likable too, right? So I just thought that's a very apt picture. And before we move on, I'm going to share a short little anecdote about a famous boxer known as Muhammad Ali. Can you shout out a hi? Yes, Jai, if you heard of Muhammad Ali, the Black Superman.
Yes, Jay.
Yes.
Yes, Jai.
I know him.
Yes, Jai.
Yeah. he floats like a butterfly. He stings like a bee. We have heard that song too, I'm sure, the Black Superman, right? Once Muhammad Ali was on a flight and the captain switched on the seatbelt sign. Ding! So the flight attendant comes up to Muhammad Ali and says, Mr. Ali, the captain has switched on the seatbelt signs. Please buckle up. So Ali just looks at her, folds his arms and says, Superman need no seatbelt. And the flight attendant immediately responded, well, sir, Superman need no plane either. So please buckle up. Now, I'm going to just share that as an anecdote, but I'm going to ask all of you to do one thing for me. I want all of you to unmute and go, ha, 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 Luchunya. Luchunya. Now, for those of you on this workshop who are not familiar with Bahasa Indonesia, Luchunya means ha, 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 that's funny. So going forward, every time I show 1, 2, 3, just this signal, 1, 2, 3 on the camera, I would like all of you to unmute and go, ha, 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 Luchunya or Luchu. One more time. Let's go practice.
Ha ha ha.
Good. Now wait for my signal, guys. Don't. Right. Now, why do I ask you to do that? Not because I want to force laughter out of you. No, I just want all of you to understand the starting point for finding humor in life is to lighten up, which means don't be so uptight and serious all the time, guys. Look at what you can find around you in daily life where you have an opportunity to just even in your mind to say, ha ha ha, Luchunya. So that's how you start finding humor in life. Now I'm going to go to the first part of today's session. Sure. Next slide.
So this is a revolving.
Yes, right. Now
it says funny things don't just happen to funny people. They happen to everyone, but funny people look at everyday things in a funny way.
Beautiful statement. Fantastic starting point for everybody on this call. I'm going to ask, in fact, Harry to read that out for me. Harry, with all strength, your vocal cords. Harry, you better hurry. Hello, Miranda.
Funny things don't just happen to funny people. They happen to everyone, but funny people look at everyday things in a funny way.
Beautifully read. I love the intonation, Miranda. Okay, great delivery. And this is what I want you to all pause on and reflect for about a minute, guys. This is the starting point. We may think, oh, stand-up comedians, comics, so they all have a trade and they have polished their skills. Of course, they polish their skills, but it's not as if they're saying something that's totally mind-boggling or unexpected. It's just they look at life in a different way that we do. And we'll see today how we can do the same. Why is the revolving door there? Let me just share a short little real-life story from my experience. The first time that I arrived in Japan, well, nearly 30 odd years ago, I had never seen a revolving door in my life. Yes, the gospel's truth, guys. I was from India, never ever seen one like that, all right? So I went to this building with 3 of my friends and it had a revolving door entrance. My 3 friends walked in and waited for me in the lobby. I went stepping in behind them, went right around and went out again. So they looked at me through the glass door and said, Jai, and the train, come in. I stepped back in, just that ready to step out. I don't know what happened. I just froze and went back out again. So this happened a few times. I think it happened 3 times. I started to feel giddy when a woman walked out from behind me and she said to me in Japanese, but she said, you can just walk through the door next to it. Apparently there was a regular door there also. She says, open walking. I'm like, what? What, that door? She said, that's for wheelchair access and for those who are physically challenged, but you can go through that, no problem. That was just a short little anecdote, real life story, but it was just a regular thing. But when you reflect on it, even today, when I think about it, I could remember my friends slapping their knees in laughter saying, what's wrong with you, Jack? You're going to go around circles all day? Come on in, just step out of the door. That was an example of funny things don't just happen to funny people. It happens to everybody, but funny people look at things like that in a very funny way and make a note. So starting today, my first tip to all of you is to please start maintaining what I call joke notebook, a humor story notebook. What notebook is this? Your own, your personal story. Have a dedicated diary, title it today's workshop, and start noticing things in your life and jotting it down. You never know when you're going to be called upon to share a little funny story. All right. It could even be things that you sourced from other people, like the Muhammad Ali story. That is something I had heard many years ago, but I found it very funny. Never forget it. So that's the thing. Now, what's the technique you can use to do that starting today or maybe even tomorrow morning? When you wake up, here's the next slide.
Okay, 3 A's.
Right.
To finding humor in your life. Appreciate, accept, apply.
Right. So these are the first 3 things I want you guys to note down. How do you find humor in your life? Please note my section is on finding humor. Later, you're going to hear how you speak it and how you write it. And the 3A technique, I call the 3A. I like the 3A word, by the way. It's like a Duracell battery, isn't it? It energizes you. Humor energizes you guys. Ever since I went blind in my mid-30s, it took me a long time to overcome it, but I realized humor is what actually distracted me a lot in life, even today, daily life, to not think about it too much and look at the lighter, brighter side of life. It's very uplifting humor, right? So the 3A technique is first start appreciating it in your life. Now, why do I say this and what do I mean by this? The meaning is start just noticing things and smiling when you think it's even remotely funny. It does not have to be laugh on the roll on the floor, laughing or laugh out loud. No, just something, oh, that was funny. Make a note. Maybe you smile, or maybe just input it in your heart and your mind. Okay, and start looking for it. Once you do that, you'll have a mindset and an eye that starts to look at it and appreciate it. Whatever it can be, when you wake up in the morning, look out your bedroom window, you see something funny, whatever it could be. A black bird chasing a white one, funny. All right, make a note. All right. So then after you do that, what you do is you accept it into your life. And what do I mean by that? A lot of us can tend to be very serious all the time because of our workload or responsibilities in life. Earlier, of course, even Alan mentioned, right, about surviving in marriages, right? So things can happen where we just forget about humor because things are serious. We have parenting to do and think of, we got managerial things to think of when you go to work, etc., etc. Start to accept it, which means open your heart, an open door, and humor starts to just trickle in little by little, and you see things that was funny, which you did not, really find it so earlier. But once you start applying the 3A technique, you start appreciating it, you start accepting it, and the most important, you start applying it. Now, what do you mean by apply? Find an opportunity to then share that with somebody, share a joke, share something that happened to you. I shared the revolving door example. Was that super funny? I guess not. But if you think about it in some slapstick sort of way, it was. You can visualize me going round and round 3 times, not entering that building, my friends waiting inside. Of course, it was a little funny in a sort of Chaplin-esque sort of way, Charlie Chaplin kind of way, right? If you know what I mean. So that's what you got to start doing. So the 3A one more time, of course, is appreciate. Start laughing, start smiling, start looking for it. Number 2, accept, get it into your heart and into your mind, into your life. And finally, you apply. Start using it at Toastmasters or outside Toastmasters, in friendships, in social circles, wherever you can share a little joke, right? Good. Next.
5 elements of a humorous speech.
All right, so now comes to a very, very important part of what are the 5 elements of a humorous speech. The first 3A, of course, was where do you find it and how do you go about starting tomorrow? But what are the 5 elements? I think this is very important to remember. And the 5 S's is what I call. Number 1, situational, also called observational. I know there's a little asterisk on that observational. I'll just talk about it a little later. First, situational or observational. What situation are you in? What happened? Why was it funny? Make a note. Number 2.
Situation, self-deprecatory is an after situational.
Right, self-deprecatory. I'll explain each of this for a minute, guys. Self-deprecatory is a style of humor where you make fun of yourself. I did just now about my eyesight, right? My blindness, etc. Right? What can you do with self-deprecatory humor? Look at your own self and ask your own self, what aspect of myself, both physical attributes or possibly even personality, it doesn't have to be physical all the time, guys, can I start looking at in a funny way? Which means you laugh at yourself. And guys, believe me, this is my favorite type of humor. You can laugh at yourself. It's easier to get the world to laugh at you. Yeah. Don't laugh at other people. Laugh at your own self. And what are the examples? Maybe it was your height. Maybe you're too tall. There's no such thing as a limit, of course, but maybe you feel you're too short, or maybe it is width. Maybe it was weight. Maybe it was build. Maybe it was just making fun of your qualifications. It could be anything at all. While you don't have to make fun of other skin color, when you make fun of it your own self, it could be another thing, your physical attributes, whatever. Okay, I've been told that I'm speaking a little fast here. I'll slow down now. Thank you for that update, Miranda, and feedback. So self-deprecating humor is making fun of some part of your own self in terms of your personality, or maybe it could be your, as I said, looks, whatever it is, all right? And look at what you can note down that comes across to you as funny. When you do that, more and more people will laugh with you. Believe me, they won't laugh at you, they'll laugh with you. The third style?
So the first one is slapstick, the second is situational, the third is self-deprecatory, and the fourth is setup and surprise.
Wait, I've not covered slapstick. Slapstick was similar to the glass door. What is slapstick? I mentioned the word Charlie Chaplin earlier. Now that is kind of slapstick humor. That means something that happens funny. You slip on a banana peel, all right? That's slapstick. You fall off a ladder, that could be slapstick, all right? Etc. So that was slapstick. Situation is observational. Number 3 is self-deprecating. Number 4 is setup and surprise. What is setup and surprise? Setup and surprise, the example I gave was the flight attendant and Muhammad Ali. When Ali said, Superman needs no seatbelt, he had not expected the flight attendant to say, well, Superman needs no plane either. Please buckle up. Well, that was a setup and surprise, right? Okay, so that's one example. And of course, satire. What is satirical humor? Satire is political satire, religious satire, a group satire, a set of people, etc. Satire could be even country-based, like satirical humor based on certain parts of the world, the geographic parts of the world. Indians, for example, or Indonesians, or please note, you've got to be a little careful with this because it's got to be in good taste. Okay, you've got to be very sure that you got it right. Because otherwise it can come as generalizing or gender stereotyping, etc., etc. We don't want that, okay? But it can also be very, very funny, okay, if you get it right. So that's another one. Typically, the examples, what I just told you, politics, religion, you know, gender-based satire, you know, occupational satire, doctors, lawyers, those kind of examples, okay, architects, speakers, whatever, okay? So these are the 5 S techniques for humor. Now, why is there a picture of a cocktail there? Can anybody here unmute and tell me why the photo of a glass, a cocktail glass? Anybody can tell me? For the 5S.
I think you can make a mixture.
Ravi,
that's a brilliant answer, and you're absolutely right, sir. And welcome to the program, Ravi. It's good to have you here. Yes, because you need not have only one type. Your humorous skit, or if I may say, your humorous presentation need not just be only one of these 5 types. It can be a nice cocktail mix of all of it, a few of it, some of it, or only one of it. It doesn't matter. Typically, there'll be 3 or 4 of the 5 types, right? That's why it's a cocktail, all right? You got to know. It all depends on which part of your humor contains which. We're going to do now. We're going to do a little exercise. I'm going to start asking you all, have some fun now, lighten up and read a few examples and tell me what part of this 5S does that fall into? Yes, Shah.
Okay. Situational, I believe you want to say it's, remember, it's always the first time.
Right. Now, one more thing I want all of you to pay attention to when I said situational is observational. Please make a note that whatever you share with people as a funny story, make sure it's always the first time. What do I mean by it's always the first time? It means that situation happens to you for the first time. I'm not saying it's always only the first time you share it with people. You may share it with multiple people in different groups. I'll repeat that. Whatever you said happens to you for the first time. That glass door only happens to me once. Now, and you understand what I mean? If I go on saying that happens, many times it happened. 1 month in Japan, it happened to me for 4 days or 3 to 4 days. That's not funny. People will think, why did you not know what to do with the door then? Or how to walk in, right? But the first time it happened, funny. Give me a thumbs up, guys, if you understood the meaning of it's always the first time. Any joke you share, remember, share it as if it was the first time. A thumbs up from everybody. okay, or on the
Yeah.
chat box that you understood the first time?
Got it.
Yep, it could be a Toastmasters attire as well.
Yes, it could be. That's why I said speakers.
Yep, yep.
I mentioned speakers. Yes, absolutely right. Someone has said a Toastmasters attire. Of course, it could be. I'm going to share one a little later in another 15 minutes. All right. So these are the 5 S's. Now let's look at some funny examples, guys. Right.
Okay, now we have to the activity 1.1.
Right.
Complete the following in 3 to 4 funny lines. Choose any one and have fun with it.
Okay, just 1 second. So guys, first of all, can you say yes if you can all see the screen clearly? Is that clear? The text, I mean, all those lines, is it clear?
Yes.
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 Right.
Yes.
Now this is a real-time activity. You'll be given 5 minutes to choose one of these opening lines. 5 minutes, guys. I'll be timing you, and write in your notebook or a pad, whatever, just 3 or 4 additional lines. Please remember, guys, I don't want a whole paragraph. Very simple. Just what the next line or the next 2 lines could be. Write it in, and we will then ask a few people to share that with us. You can be silly, it can be stupid, it can be funny, it can be whatever. Don't worry too much. Don't, just relax and complete the statements. We look at what the statements are. Sham, can you read the first one?
Okay. I opened my refrigerator door planning to prepare a delicious meal when...
That's it. You have to complete that with a line, 2 lines. Start thinking. If you choose that, what could be something funny? It can be even silly, it doesn't matter. Next one. Sham.
I arrived at my hair salon for a haircut and was taken aback to see my stylist.
Yeah, and next one.
I stepped on my bathroom scale and
All right.
I stuck my head out of my first floor bedroom window to get the breath of fresh air. When?
All right, you got 4 options. Your time starts now. Whoever would like to voluntarily start attempting this activity, I'll be stopping you in 5.
Can I ask a question? I'm not very clear what this means. So we choose one of these 4.
Yes.
And then
complete that statement. Add another line, Miranda. Add 2 lines.
Add another line.
Yeah.
Okay.
A line or 2.
A line or 2 that you think is funny.
Okay.
You'll have to create it. You got to, and it can be silly, it doesn't matter, Miranda. It can be even stupid and silly, it doesn't matter.
Okay.
What happened when you open the refrigerator door, etc. like that? What happened when you stuck your window out of the bedroom window? Okay. Sorry, Sham?
You stuck your head, not the bedroom out of the window.
No.
Okay, have we started?
Yes. I'm timing you for 5 minutes. You can start, you can ask questions in between. We are not doing this for everybody to read out, guys. A few people can share. Choose any one. Yeah, 4:35 is stop. We got exactly 5 minutes. We got a
timer.
I'm timing, Miranda. I got a timer with me.
Okay.
Do you know what you have chosen, Miranda? Just you as an example. Have you chosen 1, 2, 3, 4? Which one?
Yeah, number 1.
Okay, cool. Just have to complete it, Miranda. Just 2 lines. I want 3 lines.
Yep. Actually, if you all have time, you can take any 4. You can write down all these 4 because it could be used later.
Yeah.
But not now. Later, maybe you'll see the slides.
Of course.
Yeah.
What can you do with it? Don't take it too seriously. I mean, just have fun with it. I mean, I know I'm repeating this, but
you can exaggerate.
You can exaggerate. I was going to say that you can exaggerate. You can make, guys, you can make things up. Just to get you all to lighten up a bit and see how crazy creative you can get with humor. Mark Yoshikawa-san, can you hear me? Are you on the call on this? Are you rehearsing?
Yeah, I'm hearing, I'm listening to you.
Yes, Mark. So would you like to attempt one of these? I would like to hear your take.
Well,
after 2 minutes.
Yeah, if you ask me, but I'm not quite sure. my lines are going to be interesting, but
that's why I want all of you to stop.
okay.
No, stop worrying about that. Yeah, Mark, I want to hear what you have to say. Yeah.
Compelled to or asked to be humorous, then that's a different story. But okay, I'll try.
Just have fun with it. Do whatever you want.
Sure. Anything you say.
I want to try too.
Miranda said that. Is that Miranda?
Yes.
I would love to hear you also, Miranda. You guys have 3 more minutes, by the way. I might even want to hear what Ushi Mohandas, a friend of mine, has to say if she's still on the call.
Yes, very much.
Oh, Ushi, I'd like you to choose one. Have you chosen one?
Let me go for whatever I can, okay?
Yeah, maybe I'm going to pick you out to read out a few lines. Okay, just so be prepared.
No, I'm not prepared. I'm always extempore.
Oh, you do it extempore? Oh, I would love that to hear from you. Wonderful. Thank you. And then we'll see how our brain works and how we find humor. Okay, we got all right, we got 2 minutes, guys. And then we'll just take random people to.
We've already had.
Yeah, we got 3 already. Miranda, Ushi, Mark. Anyone else, of course. I'll take about 4 people. Ta-da. 'Cause hear some people laughing. Now, this is for everybody, guys, ladies and gentlemen. After each speaker shares that little 4 or 5 lines, I want all of you to watch my 1, 2, 3 and go, ha, 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 luchunya. Okay, after they've said it. All right, let's make sure we just energize everybody here. Okay, you've got a minute. 30 seconds. Sounds like a rocket launch. Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Blast off. All right, guys, you may stop thinking, stop writing. Rest of you can work on it a little later. Not a problem. This is an idea. Let's take some random volunteers. I heard Miranda jump up and down, say, I would like to go today.
Okay, care to share? Yes, Miranda.
So care to share is the second part. So Miranda, do you care to share?
Okay, this is my attempt. What am I looking here at? One. I opened my refrigerator door to prepare a delicious meal and saw a rat was sitting right in the top rack. He was as stunned as I was. I jumped back and the rat jumped back as well and did the bowl behind him and he yelped and that got me laughing on the floor.
Guys, watch my finger. You know what to do. Unmute. Miranda, I have to applaud you. Because you know what? I did find it funny. You know what was the funny part there? The rat looked as stunned as you did. That was a brilliant line there. So I thought it was very creative, very well done. Okay, we're going to take 2 more or 3 more speakers and then we'll look at what category it fell in. All right. Can I ask our extemporaneous speaker, Dr. Ushi Mohandas? By the way, Ushi Mohandas or UM, actually you are there in humor. It's HUMOR. So UM.
So Jay, here I go. First of all, a great evening to all the Toastmasters. Thank you, Miranda, for sharing the invite with me. Now I choose the first one as well because I just saw it. And I would say I opened my refrigerator door. I was planning to prepare a delicious meal when, oh my God, I saw the salad dressing. And I just really needed to run out of there because obviously the salad needed some privacy.
Everybody, 1, 2, 3, unmute. Well done, Ushi. Thumbs up to you. I was visualizing that. That must have been embarrassing for both of you. All right. All right. We go to Mark Yoshikawa-san from Japan.
Well, very simple. I don't know whether it's going to work or not, but number 2.
Okay.
I arrived at my hair salon for haircut, but was taken aback to see my hair stylist completely bald head.
Guys, 1, 2, 3. That is funny because the way you say it, because obviously the stylist was not bald earlier. But that day when you walked in, you've surprised, you've taken aback, the hairstyle is totally bald. What are you going to do with your hair now?
Okay.
I like that. I like that, Mark. Well done.
Booby wants to.
Yes, of course. Any volunteers? We are more. Yes, Booby.
Very short, simple. Thank you.
Thank you. Well done.
Yes, Booby, go ahead.
Hi, I'll take the first one.
Which
I
one?
opened my refrigerator door.
Yep, go ahead.
So
Can
go
you
ahead.
hear me?
Yeah.
I opened my refrigerator door planning to prepare a delicious meal. Then I realized it's been out of order since last time I opened it. I called out my husband to ask, what do you want for the dinner? And he said, anything that is ready in 5 minutes. I made Maggie and forgot about the fridge and just went to bed.
Booby, I have to admit very openly and honestly with you that your audio was not too clear, but some parts I could find was entertaining and sound funny. I couldn't catch all of it. Having said that, everybody, 1, 2, 3, let's go. 1, 2, 3. We have to applaud you because it was more than 2 lines. Very well done, by the way. Right? Maybe we'll take one more.
Anyone likes to try?
Any one more person? We're gonna move on then.
Come on.
Any one person. Any of these 4 options. I was waiting for the bedroom window one. When you stuck your head out, what happened?
Yeah, Ravi, you want to try?
Oh yeah, of course. Maybe Ravi, would you like to make an attempt? Anyone?
Sure. After all, it didn't cost me anything. I arrived at my hair salon for a haircut and was taken aback to see my stylist grooming a dog instead. So, and I asked him, why is he grooming the dog? He says, well, he only cuts the hair for men and women on the weekends. Weekdays, he does the dogs.
Well done, Ravi. I'm going to move on, but I'm going to give you a quick example of what I thought of the refrigerator door. Mine would be just one line. I opened my refrigerator door to make a delicious meal when my eye fell on a bright red tomato. So I picked it up and stuck it back in my glass eye.
Kind of weird, but
I didn't get it.
My eye fell on a tomato.
for the place on the
It was a glass eye, so it just came out, right? I stuck it back in, but you think I stuck the tomato in, right? Anyway, it can be stupid, it can be silly. All of you, the thing is, this is just to warm you all up and get you to start thinking in this kind of crazy way as all of you as volunteers. I actually found all of that very entertaining, all your attempts.
Yeah,
it was good. You're on the right path to actually finding humor in whatever you can in life. Make a note of it, guys. We're gonna move on now with some great examples.
Now, for this activity, what did you think about? Yeah, give a 2 to 3 word title for your funny story. Do you want to go to the what category of 5S?
Yeah. So what category of the 5S would it fall in? We'll just look at quickly. Mark Yoshikawa-san, you shared about the stylist. What was that category then? Was it Slapstick? Was it situational? Was it set up and surprise, satire, or what? Self-deprecating. What was it? It can be a mix.
Mark, would you like
Some surprise.
Set up and surprise is a good one because you said the baldness came later after a little pause. You had a timing and you said, I was taken aback to see my stylist was bald. So that was set up and surprise. Okay. And a slight element of slapstick humor, a little like the Charlie Chaplin kind of humor, right? Visually, I meant. That's good. Anyone else? Well, who shared today? Miranda, you shared about the rat in the fridge, I think. What kind of humor would that be? Of the 5 types.
Yeah, I imagine it would be more Chaplinish, because if I didn't have to say the words but just acted it out, it would have been funny. Because
but you would have to explain what was happening, right? Because there was no visual clue. You'll have to explain the rat and all that, right?
well, if I open it and if it's recorded in video,
Yeah.
I opened the refrigerator and then there was like a rat staring at me.
Yeah.
I jumped back, he jumped back.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right, and then he hit a bottle.
Yeah.
Behind, and he yelped.
Yeah.
I didn't expect a rat to yelp, but it did.
Yeah. So you're right, Miranda. It is an element of slapstick or Chapliness. You're right, but it's also situational. It's an element of situation.
Oh, okay.
Because that was what you were in, you know. But you're right. It's a blend of both. Right.
Okay.
Very good. Well done. We'll go to Ushi. Yeah. The salad dressing.
Well, Jay, I think it could be like a setup.
Exactly right. She's right. Yeah. It is a setup.
So when you say salad, people don't expect the salad to dress up. So,
yeah, you're right, Ushi. And also the play on word of the word dressing.
Yeah.
They expect you to mean the other dressing, right?
And then I said it needed privacy. So, you know, you're just making it very clear that you don't want to see anybody dress, including the salad.
I totally agree. That is why the tomato turned red, by the way, because it was blushing.
So I'm going to shove it back where it belongs.
Thank you very much. And finally, we'll go to Ravi.
Yeah, thank you, sir. I felt mine initially was set up or a surprise. Then it moved to situational, and the last punch I felt is slapstick.
Yes, and I also noticed a slight tinge, Ravi, of satire when you said, I actually cut men and women's hairs during the day, but dogs on the weekend.
Yeah.
There's a little bit of satire there. Yeah, I like that. It's a good example of a mix of all of these, right? Now, we had another 2 minutes to ask all of you, if you could just come up quickly with a 2-word or max 3-word title for what you shared. What would it be? You can just type it down and share it in the chat box as in anything. All those who shared the stories, the 4 of you, what would be the title of your story? While you're doing that and thinking about it, we could just move on.
Yeah, so Miranda said she liked the exercise. It forced her to think and imagine. And Ravi says, agreed, Miranda forced us to think.
Yes, and Miranda, of course, all of them did a great job.
Yeah, thank you for that.
Yeah.
So we'll go to the next.
Yeah, I'm going to just take some random names from the screen, Sharon, to read.
No one has shared yet.
Yeah.
Anyone wants to share?
No. I'm coming to the next slide to read.
Oh, okay. You want to go back to now?
Yeah, we have got an eye on time.
Yes. Xiu Chen, can you read that? Xiu Chen?
Yeah, just move on to another name if responses don't come quick.
Okay.
Just another name. Yeah.
Agus, can you read it?
My doctor told me to watch what I eat. So I asked my friend to video me while I ate some junk food. Then I watched the video of me eating.
All of you, 1, 2, 3, unmute and. Actually, I kind of really do think it's funny because the play on words here is the word watch. When the doctor tells you to watch what you eat, he means take care, be cautious, be aware, be careful. But you're looking at watch as a literal interpretation of watching you eat. Right? So that's the funny part. All right. So that's how you think in humor. Where can I twist the word? Where can I twist the meaning? And where can I find that funny part? Right. Next.
Okay. Linda, can you read this?
All right, Linda.
Where's Linda?
Yes.
Yep. Can you?
Do I read it out?
Yeah. Can you read, please? Yeah,
read.
My friend, who was a gynecologist, gave an excellent speech. I wasn't surprised since he was an expert at delivering.
Everybody. Oh man, I love this. Okay, obviously the play here is on the delivery part of it. Okay, like a Toastmaster speech delivery or a gynecologist delivery. But I'm not surprised. He was excellent at delivery. He does it all the time. All right, good. The next one.
The next one. Mark, I challenge you to read this in an interesting way.
All right, Mark, your challenge is read it in an interesting
All right. I am a dentist. I've got a boring job.
Lucunia.
Lucunia. Obviously, the play here is boring because it has two meanings. You can drill into your teeth when a dentist bores, or it's a boring job. I got a boring job. I'm a dentist. Good one.
Okay, next one. Let me ask Sharlina.
Oh, Sharlina.
Can you try?
Wow, nice to have you, Sharlina.
Thank you. Last week, my boss said, Joy, you have worked very hard this year. Are you ready for a hike? I replied, yes, thank you very much for your kind consideration. He said, okay, we will climb Mount Kinabalu next week.
Everybody, 1, 2, 3.
Lucunia.
Obviously, in your case, it wouldn't be Jai by your name, but the funny part was the word hike. Hike also means a bonus.
It's like same like Ushi's salad dressing.
Like Ushi's salad dressing, right? Example, yeah. So boss said, oh, you worked so hard. Are you ready for a hike? I was thrilled because I was expecting a bonus. And he says, next week we'll climb a mountain. So that hike is mountain climbing. Well done. Next, please.
Okay. Florence, are you there?
Now we go to Florence.
I'm here. Hi.
Somebody's already laughing.
Okay, Florence, can you read this?
All right. How many Toastmasters does it take to change a light bulb?
Okay, that's the question.
Let us guess.
Would anyone like to attempt the answer?
Okay, Jay, go ahead.
All right, here we go.
Very hard.
Ladies and gentlemen, it takes 10 Toastmasters to change one light bulb. Now, I want all of you to say, why, Jai? All of you ask me that.
Why?
Why,
Jai?
One to change the light bulb, 8 to applaud warmly, and one to tell you what you did well and how you could take changing light bulbs to the next level.
Okay, now you're supposed to ha ha ha.
Yeah. Right. And by the way, you would also need a GE. You know what a GE is?
General evaluator and general
electrician. You need a general electrician.
Electric. Edison invented the light bulb.
You need
a general electrician, not electric. Electrician.
Yeah. Electrician.
Okay, sorry.
So, guys, that's a quick example. I'm going to just share 2 more real life experiences, and I'm going to wrap up here. So, in the next.
Okay, the color swim.
Yeah, here's an example of something that happened to my dad when he was in Japan. I was living with him. Just to let you know, guys, when my dad came close to retirement, he was 60 at that time in Japan. He is darker skinned than I am, which means he's very close to almost being very dark brown or black. And he had a layer of thick snow white hair on his head. He never dyed it, right? So when my father, he was referred to as Narayan-san by all his Japanese colleagues, in events, etc., his Japanese friends would say, Narayan-san, hey, we want to take a photo. Let's all get ready for photo. My father would always tell them, I'm talking about 30 years ago, right, guys? Don't waste your color film on me because I'm black and white. And they always used to get this rousing laughter from his Japanese colleagues. I'm talking about when you had films and regular cameras those days, right? He said, don't waste color film on me. I'm always only black and white. Now, what, by the way, you guys forgot my signal.
Okay, you can't see.
Can't see the signal. Oh, sorry. Here, I'm showing you 1, 2, 3. What are you supposed to do to distribute energy to everybody? 1, 2, 3. Now, what humor was that? That's a clear example of one type of humor.
Self-deprecating.
It was self-deprecating humor. Yes, exactly. It was not situational, all that didn't. It was self-deprecating. Don't waste your color film. I'm black and white. I am black and white. Make fun of your own self. Very well done. Next one.
Story of Jay in Onsen.
Okay, this is a quick one. It'll take about 2 minutes. This is real life experience when I was living in Japan, guys. One beautiful autumn weekend, I was high up on a mountain, nearly 10,000 feet above sea level in winter, where it's close to winter, right? Sitting in an outdoor hot water spring called an onsen in Japanese. Mark Yoshikawa will know what I mean, onsen, right? So I was sitting there, nice and relaxed, feeling nice, warm and comfortable in the freezing cold, when I heard suddenly to my right, someone going very clearly, spitting what appeared to be, to me, some fruit seeds into that hot water spring. So I said, okay, somebody's enjoying some fruit. Definitely not a Japanese. Japanese never spit seeds into the onsen. I thought it's a foreigner. So in English, I said, hello, nice morning, is it not? There was no reply. At that moment, to my left, I suddenly heard a very playful splash, 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 splash in the water with some, obviously the hands. I thought, okay, maybe I'll ask this person on my right. Oh, you seem to like having fun. Isn't this really enjoyable out here? No reply. I then realized maybe in Japan, people don't ask each other questions. Maybe you're just supposed to sit there, relaxed, and just enjoy the moment in the luxurious lap of nature. At that moment, some of my friends stepped out of the changing room and seeing me sitting there went, ha ha ha, Joyce, son, so funny. I can't imagine. Let me get my camera. Unaware, there was a monkey, a snow monkey on my right, another snow monkey on my left, and the three of us were sitting there in a row. Okay, it was so hilarious because later on, when I went to the souvenir shop and I explained what had happened to me in the onsen, this is the souvenir they sold to me, ladies and gentlemen. Have a look. Next slide. Yeah. That is what I purchased. And you can see who the blind monkey was, who saw no evil in the middle. Me. So, ladies and gentlemen, that was a classic example of the I hear no evil, I see no evil, and I speak no evil trial.
Time yellow.
What did she say?
Yellow, yellow.
Yeah, almost done. So, guys, self-deprecating humor, situational humor. So these are two examples of mixing situational with self-deprecating because I was descriptive. All right. But then I made fun when I said in the end, you know who the blind monkey was in the middle? Me. So that's an example of how you could make fun of your own attributes. Good. Go to the next. That's it. So we have come to a close of how can you find humor by looking around you every day, ladies and gentlemen. I told you about the notebook. I'll do a quick wrap up here. The 3A, just start appreciating it in all its forms. Just be open to it. All right. Not always very serious. Be serious when you have to be, guys. I'm not asking you to find humor and start laughing and making jokes if you're a brain surgeon operating on somebody. Obviously, you've got to be serious. Okay. If you're flying a plane, if you're minding a train, if you're on some serious work-related project, of course, you've got to be serious. Having said that, wherever possible, lighten up, appreciate it when you see it. Make a note of it in your database, in your book, right? Number 2, accept it. Don't be closed doors to humor, whatever it can be. Even if it's something funny that happened to you, just accept it. And finally, apply it. And finally, the 5S. Situational, well, slapstick, of course. Situational or observational. And then there is the setup and surprise, where you take people on a tangent, different word meanings, etc. And then you have the self-deprecating, making fun of your own self. and there is the satire, political satire, right? Yeah, any type of satire, religious satire, political satire, whatever. I'll give an example of satirical humor before I wrap up here and before I'm told it's a red light. So Mark Yoshikawa, can I ask you, sir, how long have you been a Toastmaster?
About 20 years.
20 years. Mark, that's amazing. That's 20 times approximately longer than Japanese prime ministers stay in the diet.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
So-
that's great.
So guys, that is an example of satire. That's political satire, because Japanese prime ministers very frequently they're stepping down. Every year, every 2 years, you get a new one. Mark has been in the club for 20 years. The diet is the Japanese parliament, yes.
Yep.
That's satire. Okay. On that note, guys, my time is up. I'm going to hand it over to somebody who will tell you how you can speak humor. I have just told you how you could find humor in your life. Thank you all. One final time, I'm going to ask you to just watch my fingers and just at the count of 3, all unmute and shout out.
Ha ha ha. Junior.
Thank you very much. You've been an awesome audience. Thank you.
Back to Ellen.
Back to Alan.
Thank you very much, Jai. Everybody, please unmute yourself. Please unmute yourself right now. Unmute yourself and say thank you, Jai, for his presentation.
Thank you, Jai.
Thank you.
Right. So we learned, the first thing that we learned right now is about seeing humor. And I think that exercise helped us a little bit. Usually, especially when we have a humor speech contest and we always struggle, we need to run some workshop because we don't know where to find our material. We don't know where to get our punchline. We don't know where to get our stories. And I think the exercise that Jai has given was amazing. Just a quick test for everyone. There was 5 S. Can anyone unmute yourself and tell me what is the first S? What is the first S that you can remember?
Situational.
Situational.
Self-deprecating.
Good.
Self-deprecating.
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 Set up and
Satire.
satire.
And what's the last one?
Satire.
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 All right. What was the story that you remember the most from Jai's presentation earlier on? Tell me one story that you remember the most.
Black and white.
Black and white. All right. What else?
The hiking one.
The rolling
The
door.
hiking one. All right.
The rolling door.
Glass door. All right. What else?
Monkey.
About monkey. About Muhammad Ali. All right. So good. I think how good a workshop is always not only determined by how much the presenter have shared, is also how much an audience can retain from it as well. So I think what you have demonstrated is a attentive listening skill, and also I think that is the one of the best way that we can show appreciation to our presenter, especially when they put in all the effort to deliver such workshop. So everyone, let's give another round of applause. Let's put up the heart shape and unmute yourself and say thank you, Jai, once again. Thank you, Jai.
Thank you, Jai.
Thank you, Jai.
Thank
you,
Jai. Namaste.
Right. So after learning how to see humor, the next thing that we all can learn would be how can we speak humor. And today we have a very special guest. We have a very special guest, not just only from within the district. We get to import a speaker from Japan. So let me do introductions about Mark, our speaker for tonight, Mark Yoshikawa. So he was born and he grew up in Japan. He worked for Tokyo Electric Power and a few consulting firms, and was a real estate analyst in SoCal. He is a certified corporate speaker from Bill Gove Speech Workshop. Mark participated in district speech contests in Europe, New York, and Japan numerous times. And with the speech he will deliver at this particular workshop tonight, it was in 2013 when he came in second place at the Continental Europe District Speech Contest, which he participated in. So Mark joined Toastmasters, Tokyo Toastmasters 27 years ago, and currently he belongs to 2 clubs in North America and 6 in Japan, and served as the Division F Director of District 76. As I read out his resume is probably longer than the certificates that I have accumulated in Toastmasters. So definitely this is someone that we all can learn from his experience, especially when it comes to contests. I think not many of us have that courage to go up to contests, not just only within our district, but against the best in Europe as well. So ladies and gentlemen, please unmute yourself and give the loudest cheer so that we could invite our next speaker onto the stage. Mark Yoshikawa, over to you, Mark.
My speech title is Control Yourself. All right, let me begin. Mark, control yourself. Mark, please try to control yourself. Everybody around me says that to me. I see no reason why, because I'm usually calm and quiet and intelligent. But sometimes it goes like this. 23 years ago, when I worked for a consulting firm in Tokyo, tired from work, I walked into a company cafeteria. Then I saw the Japanese equivalent to Cameron Diaz. I lost control of myself, rushed to her and said, "Excuse me, my name's Mark. May I take a seat beside you?" Huh? She was surprised because there were just the two of us. But she couldn't resist because I looked like not Michael Jackson, but Tom Cruise. Of course, please. And I sat beside her and talked about myself for 5 minutes, non-stop. Then I realized I didn't even know her name. So I said, "What's your name, by the way?" She said, "Need to know basis." Oh, I need to know because it is destiny. Huh, you are so funny. Just amuse me. I've been leading a boring life. Wow, she accepted me. I asked her out and we had a wonderful time. We were a perfect match. She was cool. I was passionate. She was speechless. I was talkative. She was a clever girl and I was a genius. 3 months later, on her birthday, I invited her to a gorgeous dinner. The Maxime de Paris in Tokyo. Romance was in there because I was her host. However, toward the end, having coffee, she said, "Oh, by the way, Mark, I am going to Los Angeles tomorrow. I'll be transferred. It's been nice having you around." Oh, I exploded. "No, Yoko, can't you see? We are perfect together. It is a destiny to be together." She said, "No, Mark, destiny decided we would part. Control yourself. Bye-bye." And she was gone. I was devastated, destroyed, and deranged, and began to see Yoko's hallucination every day. "Hi, good morning, Yoko. You look beautiful this morning." "Good morning, Yoko. I love your new hairdo." Trying to get away from the visions, I devoted myself to work. And 3 months later, I was transferred to San Francisco. Oh no, not to Los Angeles. But on day one in Los Angeles office at 5 p.m., I was writing a very difficult document. Then I smelled Yoko's perfume. I looked around and saw her only 10 meters away, talking to my new boss, Mr. Flanagan. I exploded. "Hey, Yoko, what are you doing here?" "Mark, what are you doing here? I've been transferred here today." "Wow, so was I. Can't you see? This is destiny. Destiny decided that we were to be together." She said, "Mr. Flanagan, I think he's stalking me. He is a stalker. Control yourself, Mark." I realized that everybody was watching me like this. "Oh, you are a stalker." Mr. Flanagan said, "Is that true, Mark?" Oh no, I ran out of the office. But I had a second thought. I decided to wait for her in the parking garage. So I got in my blue Toyota Camry and waited for her to come out. I waited for 25 minutes. At 5:25, she came out into the parking garage, but she quickly got in her white Nissan Sentra and sped away. Naturally, I followed her. In order to follow her around? No, in order to apologize to her. Wow, she was speeding so fast. So I went faster to catch up. She was so fast, but I was catching up. 100 meters, 50 meters, 30 meters, almost there. Yoko, please, let me apologize to you. I must apologize to you. Then a light turned yellow and she stopped so suddenly. Ladies and gentlemen, who stops at yellow? I tried to stop and no. Bang! The airbag deployed. After the accident, I heard the door of a car opened and somebody was coming closer to me. I knew that was Yoko. So I tried to hide, but then the airbag shrunk. Our eyes met. Hello, Yoko. Oh, Mark, you again? What are you doing here? Of course, I'm here to apologize to you. Ah, this is your way of apologizing to me. Come right out and take a look. I jumped out of the car and took a look and said, Yoko, our cars are kissing each other. Yours is blue and mine is white. Oh, just vice versa, but can't you see? This is destiny. We have to be together. Mark, control yourself. This is not destiny. This is an accident. Yoko, you can't resist destiny. I was unstoppable. And she said, okay, Mark, I have to tell you my secret. I love only women. See? I said, wow, that's great, Yoko. So do I. We have something in common. I also love women. Did you know? Of course. Then she finally said, very forcefully and strongly, Mark, control yourself. Over to you.
Buddy.
All right, everyone, let's unmute yourself. Let's unmute yourself and learn and utilize what we have learned from Jai in terms of like say 1, 2, 3, ha ha ha.
Thank you.
Well,
Omoroyan.
Omoroyan.
Thank you very much. My God, I got carried away. I was nervous, sorry.
No, it was very funny, Mark. Well done.
Well done. So everyone, what we're gonna do right now is right after Mark's speech, I would be asking him a series of questions because we want to crack his mind to understand a little bit more.
Yeah, please interrogate me.
We have about 14-15 minutes for this segment. So while I ask Mark with some questions, you can prepare your questions as well and just drop it in the group chat. I will pick it up and then I will pass your questions to Mark. This is the best time to ask someone who has a lot of experience in competing in a humorous speech contest. Right, so Mark, I think I have a first question for you while waiting for more questions to come in. My question to you is, Mark, for your presentation, how do you prepare your script?
Oh, I prepared my script with the help of the president of my club, which I belonged to at the time, Paris Speechmasters. Bob Moll, the president, who is actually a well-known professional speaker in France and in Luxembourg, and he coached me personally. And it was very difficult to make a long story short.
So what would be a good advice for someone who has not participated in a humorous speech or would like to attempt? What would be your advice to him or her?
Well, perhaps it'll be the safest and the best way to laugh at yourself or make fun of yourself because the people would like to listen to the speaker's personal story or stories. And if the speaker talks about his or her funny stories or failures, then they would love you because the speaker is a fallible person, and they would respect you because you have the courage to reveal what happened to you so openly and in a humorous way, I think. So self-deprecating story always would be the safest and the best way in such a humorous speech contest, in my opinion.
Thank you, Mark. I think that resonates well with what Jai has shared again. So everyone, you have heard two experts talking about self-deprecating. So put that down in your note. Self-deprecating humor should be something that should on top of your list, and also situational as well. We have some questions coming in as well from Miranda, which is how do you usually prepare yourself for a contest in terms of how long would you practice, how many revisions, how many times you actually have to laugh at your own joke before deciding that that's really bad and you will take it out?
Well, actually, it took only 3.5 months for me to complete this particular speech. And I came in second, just because also I was speaker number one. No speaker number one has ever won the speech contest of district level in Europe, and I became speaker number one. But most importantly, the speaker number 6, or the last speaker, Mel, who looked like Mel Gibson, became the best speaker because he spent more than 6 years to complete his funny speech. He said he had his speech reviewed by 6 professional speakers and 6 other speakers who won district level speech contests all over the world. He spent 6 years and his speech was so perfect from start to finish. My speech was not so refined compared to his, and I was amazed.
Wow.
Some speakers are so enthusiastic about winning the coveted title, the best speaker at the district level.
I'm amazed, Mark, especially when you use the word only. We use only in many different instances. Seldom we use it in the sentence of, I only prepare for 3.5 months. 3.5 months, I believe some of us can finish a whole path in the 3.5 months, and use 3.5 months to refine on one speech. That is dedication. That is dedication.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Really, well done. And also, how there's another questions from Anna. Like, in your opinion, what differentiates a smart jokes from a bad one? How would you differentiate a smart jokes from a bad one?
Differentiate smart jokes? Well,
yeah, so
smart jokes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Well, it is very difficult. I consulted a lot of seasoned Toastmasters or some professional speech coaches who also belong to Toastmasters clubs in Europe. They coached me and I learned a lot. And short is strong and less is more, they say. But I still have the propensity to talk about a lot because I can't control myself. But they always say it'll be the best idea to talk about yourself because you are the only authority in the world to talk about your personal matters which happen to you. Thank you very much. Did I answer your question? Sorry.
Yep. And following up on that question, what would be an example of a bad joke? Like, in your opinion, what would be a no-no?
Bad joke.
No-no?
What are you doing here? Oh, after crashing into my not exactly girlfriend, my lady friend's car, I said, I'm here to apologize to you. Oh, this is your way of apologizing? Or well, actually, more than 90% of the story is true. It actually happened to me. I crashed into a rear end, and also I was transferred to Los Angeles, and she was transferred to Los Angeles, and the same day. And I thought it was destiny, but she didn't find the same way, and she really believed that I was intentionally stalking her. Well, so it's a long story. So there are some satirical concepts.
We have another.
Yes.
Thanks, Mark. We have another question from Bhuvi. Do we need to prepare the speech considering that what audience you will be facing? So do you need to do audience analysis?
Yes, I think so. Well, because I was in Europe, so my speech coach told me to change this and this and this. Oh, this line would not be appealing to European people. Okay, you have to change this or something like this. So know your audience is a walnut phrase amongst we Toastmasters. Let's remember that phrase, know your audience. I don't know the audience preferences in detailed manner in your country or in your area or the districts. So really, it's necessary to know your audience. Consult the matter with your fellow members of Toastmasters. I think that'll be the best.
Yep, I think that you speak of something that is very good for all of us, especially for aspiring contestants. We need to do your homework, right? We need to do our homework before we decide what kind of topics to build onto. That's a very good tip as well. We have another question from Adina. How much should be truth and exaggerated or spice up? So how do you find the right balance? How much
in
truth
my
to tell
opinion,
and how much?
70%, yeah, thank you very much. That's a wonderful question. Many people say that at humorous speech contests, things do not have to be true. But in my opinion, more than 70%, I think, needs to be true. Because if you make up story from start to finish, then they would know. They would know. You wouldn't sound genuine. So in my opinion, more than 70%. In my case, I'm sorry to say, more than 90% was true, but I exaggerated. Mr. Flanagan actually said, hey, Mark, things are complicated. You need to go home. But I said, Mark, you need to explain. And everybody was watching me. Everybody was watching me curiously, but not in the sense that, hey, you are a stalker or something. I exaggerated, and I really self-deprecate, like I ran. I just tiptoed out of the office, but I didn't run. But my speech coach told me to dramatize. This is a very important thing. Dialogue makes a difference, and dramatization is important. And in order to make a storytelling effective, they always say, tell a story and make a point, dramatization. In order to dramatize and don't tell us, take it to the scene, relive the story. Oh, they all say those things, but they say dialogue makes the difference. Steve Siebold, the president of Bill Gov Speech Workshop, tells me always, Mark, dialogue makes a difference. Over to you.
I think that's something that I've written down as well, using your own story as a foundation to your speech, and then in the delivery, exaggerate your delivery through your vocal varieties and your body language as well. So very well said, Mark. We have another question coming up. Everyone, this is a very good session. Keep the momentum up, get the questions coming in. We have another 4 more minutes. We're going to put Mark on the hot seat and continue to crash him with more and more questions. All right, Mark, the next question would be, how do you find one story with character voice more flavor in speech contests?
Yeah, vocal variety, I think, could be very important. I once used vocal variety like, no. As a Frenchman, I cannot do it. Russia, things are very much different, or something like this. Oh, yes, I am from Japan and I do not understand, or things like that. So vocal variety also is very important, and animated facial expressions would lead you to use a variety of vocal tones, I think. So facial expressions are very, very important. I wish I was more handsome than this, but facial expression would lead you to use a variety of vocal variety. Vocal variety is very important. And also, if your story has 2 characters, I would recommend that you make 2 characters very different. Contrast would make a difference. Contrast. Here in Japan, they say boke and tsukomi. Boke is a stupid person. Tsukomi is a sharp person, very straight, just like a straight arrow, always points out mistakes or discrepancies. Hey, you're different, just like that. In my case, Yoko, the girl, was very clever. She was really like that. She rarely smiled and she was always listening, very calm. And I was passionate. I was a chatterbox, such a big contrast. And actually, I called myself Tom Cruise No, of course not. She was Cameron Diaz. She looked like that. And I am like this. And I called myself Tom Cruise. Hey, that was stupid. Anyway, contrast also would be such a good idea. Over to you.
Building onto that, I think that was a very good point, right? About impersonations, about tone, accents, and all this. But not many of us are comfortable doing it. You know, like in the beginning, we can't even find comfort in speaking in our own tone. What would be your tip for us to have different colors in our tone?
Okay, another wonderful question. Then I would suggest that you polish your words. You polish your words. Just like said, I'm a dentist. I have a boring job, or things like that. Oh yeah, you like a hike? Yes, I worked so well. Yeah, that's right. So why don't we go hiking or something like this? Polish your words in your own way. And also, I would suggest that you use 1 or 2 words that common or very well known or used in the part of the world. That would be very good. I think some words do not have to be English words. That's my opinion. If you polish your words, if the content is very humorous, self-deprecating, and also if there is a gap between the audience members' expectations and what you say, then it'll be very humorous, because some great humorous speakers rarely smiles, just like a deadpan humorous speaker and etc. So you do not have to be just like me. There are so many ways, but this is just one example. Let's enjoy and learn together.
Thank you. And you mentioned about wordplay, pun, and using some local languages, which goes back to your point about understanding the local culture as well. Yeah, so that was good. We have one more questions. Everyone, this will be the last questions. If you have final one more last questions, just drop that in. Otherwise, this question by Bhuvi would be the final questions for this Q&A session. Right, so from Bhuvi would be, how would you handle audiences when you can't see their reactions? And wouldn't that make you feel fearful?
Oh yeah, well, fearful. But how about radio personality? How about broadcasters or anchormen and women? How about professional humorous speakers, comedians? Usually they're broadcasting from a studio. They actually cannot interact with live audience, but most of them are successful. Maybe sometimes intonation, pauses are very important. Intonation, pauses. They say, sometimes they speak very fast, but sometimes they just stop and let the audience members sink in what he or she said. So he said, well, Conan, I forgot his first name, but Mr. Conan, very famous in New York, such a wonderful comedian. He said, in person, I participated in his workshop. It was very costly, but I learned a lot. Hey, Mark, just sometimes stop and let the audience members think about what you said. And if you can't see your audience members, like you're broadcasting, trust the audience and trust yourself. Mental toughness is very important. I participated in Professional Speakers Association's annual convention the other day. They always said, mental toughness as professional speakers, or if you speak at Toastmasters district speech contest, some people say, hi, he did an excellent job. Her speech was great. But other people said, well, I don't think his speech was good. I didn't think that she did an excellent job. It's up to the audience members. Let the audience members judge you. Don't worry. Trust your audience, trust yourself, and have courage. And you need to have strong mental toughness. And then believe in yourself and enjoy talking to the audience. As Dr. Smedley, the founder of this great worldwide organization, said, we learn best at moments of enjoyment. If that is true, we perform best at moments of enjoyment. Thank you very much. You are all so great. Let's enjoy and learn together and make Dr. Smedley proud. That's us. Over to you.
Thank you very much, Mark. So everyone, I would cut that. I'll put that as one of the last questions that we'll send out. There's some other questions that we'll put it in. And then if you have something else that you would like to, you can always reach out to Mark. So once again, everyone, please unmute yourself and join me in saying thank you, Mark, for his presentation.
Thank you, Mark.
Thank you, Mark.
Thank you, Mark.
For having me.
Thank Mark. Great sharing.
Arigato gozaimasu.
It was an amazing session. So right now, everyone, before we move on to the next segment, I think all of us have been sitting quite tensely listening, trying to grab as much information as we can. So what we're going to do next is just to relax a little bit before our next workshop presenter comes in, before Harry comes in. We would have a photo taking session. So this is the best time to turn on your video, stand up, stretch a little bit, have a bio break later on after the photo taking sessions. Okay. And this is also the good time after you stretch, look at the webcam. Make sure that the webcam is not cloudy, it's not foggy, and use that to make sure that your makeup is at its best. Okay, make sure that you have the best smile because we're going to take a good photo to keep a memory of this particular event. All right, so helping me with the photo taking sessions, I'll be doing the photo taking sessions since I'll be leading it. It's easier. I'll give you another 10 seconds to get yourself ready. All right, now. Ladies, put up your makeup. Gentlemen, make sure that you put on your best smile, right? We have Tom Cruise here, okay? If you can't be Tom Cruise, you can be Tom Cruise, okay? You can be Tom Cruise, okay? So this is the season of eating. So let me see, do I have everyone in here? Okay, I have most of you in here. Okay. Okay, so let me hide the non-video participants so I can see those who have it. All right, I can see most of you are in. Right, so we will take 3 photos. We'll take 3 photos. The first one, we'll take quite a formal photo. So just look at it, give your best, most elegant smile. The second photo, give your best freestyle. And the third photo, we will go crazy with our mic unmute. Because right after that, you will shout, ah, done, and you can go straight to your bio break. All right, so first photo. Just look at the screen and smile. I don't know which page are you on, so just keep smiling and freeze. All going 1, 2, 3 on page 1. All right, don't move. We're going to page 2. All right, we are going to page 3. Okay, so we will now be going for our second photo. Second photo, freestyle. Do whatever you want that shows your age. Do not put up a peace sign, okay? That tells that you are from the 70s or 80s, okay? You can try, if you're not sure what to do, look at our Oppa Agus. He's from Korea, right? You know, give you a heart shape, okay? So that shows that you are young as well. So going in 3, 2, 1 on page 1, everybody freeze. 1, 2, 3. All right, we're gonna go into page 2 right now. Page 2, page 2, page 2. Hold your pose. 1, 2, and 3. All right, going to page 3 right now. Page 3 right now, going to 1, 2, and 3. All right, the last one. This is the time. Unmute yourself. Unmute yourself. You're gonna shout because you're gonna shout. After that, you're gonna go and rush to your bio break. Okay, because you only have 2 minutes for it. All right, everyone. This is gonna be the wildest photo taking session. So on the count of 1, 2, 3, just shout. I don't know which page you are on. Keep shouting until I say I'm done. Okay? 1, 2, 3. Continue. Do not stop. All right, everyone. You have 2 minutes for your bio break, and I'll see you in 2 minutes time. We'll start in 2 minutes. All right.
Okay, okie dokie. Thank you.
Thank you, Mark.
Thank you all for having me. Thank you very much.
Mark, you're sticking around or you're leaving?
Oh, I'm not leaving. I'm staying, of course. How can I? Okay, thank you very much, Jai. You were as excellent as ever. Well, that's great.
Very
yeah,
kind.
thank you very much. Well, today I got a little bit carried away. I'm sorry about that. I was not smooth as the other day, but how do you feel?
You know what? I do notice that, yeah, I noticed that every time I hear you, the same story, this is the third time I'm hearing it, there's a little change in it. You're changing it, you're tweaking it, you're making some changes. Very nice. I mean, you keep on modifying it, right?
Yeah, that's right. I was mulling over details, and I'm trying and trying. I don't know which is best, but I always constantly keep changing. And I have a longer version, like 25 minutes. And I received a chat message, 2 or 3 actually asked me to talk about what happened to Yoko and me after that.
Yeah.
So speak again. And actually, I have so many stories after that. After. Yeah, that's
like
right.
Yeah.
The day after.
I had a
yeah,
question
that's
for
right.
you. We didn't have time. But
Yes.
Maybe we'll chat later. I have a question for you.
Yes, of course, please.
Maybe you need to take a break.
Please.
Would you like to take a break? You can. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I wish I could go to the bathroom.
Yeah. Please go ahead.
For a minute.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I'll be.
Sure.
Hi, Jade. How are you, Jade? It's been a while. I haven't seen you.
Hello, Ellen. Really long time didn't see you.
Yeah, I can see that you guys are all going out, hanging out with each other already for like food and all this. How have you been? Everything okay for you on your side?
Seems like, yeah, it's moving on. Just that we cannot meet up as usual most of the time. We have some restriction.
Is there still
Have used
restriction
to
for
be,
face-to-face
have used
meeting?
to the mask, used to the distance, and then
Yeah.
face-to-face meeting. Actually, I never stopped that.
Oh, that's good. I haven't gone back to a face-to-face meeting yet. We just have our. We will start our.
I mean, not talking about Toastmaster.
Yeah.
Not Toastmaster
Not
meeting,
Toastmasters,
but
okay.
our social meeting. We still keep on, never stop actually.
Oh, okay. So that's good. That's good. We are starting our endemic phase in 3 days' time. So start to move around. Okay, that's good. Good to have you here. Hope you enjoyed the session so far.
Although I'm not humorous, I can't speak humorously, but I like to hear people speaking humorously.
So we take it as
I
an
like
entertainment,
to listen
right?
to humorous speech.
That's good.
May I just say one thing? My tutor in the United States, one of my tutors in the United States said to me, Mark, you do not have to make people laugh at all times. Humor is a lubricant. Before speaking, you just smile and say nice words or nice word or two. Then people start to smile and listen to you. That's humor. That's enough. If somebody laughs, then it's even better, but you do not have to make people laugh. You just need to speak naturally with a smile. That's the best humor that you can possibly provide with your audience members. And I think you are smiling. And you said, oh, I'm not humorous. And you smiled and laughed. Then I started to smile. I think you are already a humorous speaker. That's my opinion.
Thanks for your encouragement, Mark.
That was brilliant, Mark. Right, so we start to have a few more of our audience coming back in. Right, so we give it another minute, then we can start. Right. So everyone, in case if you are back and you haven't turned on your video yet, would you be able to type in the group chat 1 so that I know that you are already back in the room? Just type in 1 if you're already back in the room so that we know we have the green light to continue to proceed with our segment. Yep, I can see quite a few ones coming in. All right, I think we have more guests coming in already. So let me check with our speaker, Harry. Are you ready, Harry?
Hi, Alan. I'm absolutely ready and raring to go.
All right, so let me do a proper introductions and I can pass the stage over to Harry. So ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to our workshop. So you have heard from Jai and you have heard from Mark. And now we want to go into the next segment, which is about writing humor. And who will be delivering this segment will be by Harry. Harry is an educator, he's a technopreneur, a lawyer, a dyslexic author of boring books and manuals. And Harry carries his unique brand of dark, sexy British humor mixed with a hodgepodge of experience and perspectives from living around the world. So he will share resources, a framework, and the process he uses when trying to inject good laugh into a speech. So make sure you have the notes with you, you have your pens with you, because this is the time that you will come in here and grab as many information as you can, because this session would be broken into 2 different segments. So I will let Harry to guide you through on this process. So at this moment, everyone, please help me and join me in welcoming our next workshop presenter by unmuting yourself and everybody say, hi, Harry, to welcome him onto the stage.
Hi, Harry.
Over to you, Harry.
Harry.
Right. Hello, and I'm Harry. And as usual, Alan makes me sound far more interesting than I actually am. Today and this evening, I get the privilege of taking the third and the most boring part of humor and writing. And this afternoon or this evening, depending on where in the world you are, we're just going to try to grasp a little bit at some principles when we are talking about humor in writing. Now, the scope is very clear. I've got a very clear scope. First of all, we're going to look at the theory. What's the theory behind humor and writing? This is a little bit like, you know, a 10-year-old boy watching pornography for the first time. They kind of watch what's going on the screen, but they don't quite understand. And they've never had the opportunity to try out what they're watching on a pornographic movie. So that's the theory part of this speech. I promised you some British humor, so here it is. Writing with humor. We're going to look at writing with humor, and writing with humor obviously is very different from speaking and delivering a funny speech or a humorous speech. And then the third part is where you would find most interesting as Toastmasters, and that's writing a humorous speech. You are actually going to be forced tonight. I'm going to put you to the meat grinder, and you're going to come up with some kind of outline of your own humorous speech. Now, a lot of people are going to say, I can't do it. I'm not a humorous writer, but no ideas. I will show you exactly how to cheat and how to at least have an outline of a humorous speech that you can then develop later and to take part in the competitions. So if you are all ready to join me in your outline, could you please give me a virtual thumbs up on your reaction buttons, please? Thank you, Jackie. You were the first to flip it up. Fantastic. So let's go. Now, here's the theory as I promised. There's a difference between writing and speeching. Now you're asking me, is this my dyslexia coming up again? Am I misspelling it? No, no, no. I coined a word called speeching, which is basically speech writing. This is when you're writing a speech. So there's a difference between writing and just pure speaking. Now, as you heard the other speakers earlier this evening, in a speech, there's a lot of tone. You can use tone to make people laugh. You can have caricatures. You can have funny voices. All of these things would help you to put humor into your speech. Now, other things that you can find in a speech that you might not find in writing is slapstick and gesture. You know, when I took part in my humorous speech, I was self-deprecating. I'm not exactly a very thin, I'm not a Kate Moss. I'm quite big. And my speech was actually about dieting and all the funny different kinds of diets that I had tried. So I started my speech simply by saying, I love my body. And I started a speech with a profile, with my huge big belly. I put my hand on my belly like Demi Moore, the pregnant Demi Moore. And that's how I started my speech. So when you're writing, the problem is you can't do all that. Slapsticks and gestures does not necessarily work when you are writing humorously. And let's see what are the differences. You have your funny voices. Mark gave an excellent, French. Well, I don't know that it's actually French, Mark. But yeah, you can do that. I love doing Indian voices. Mr. Jai might be a bit upset about it. But, you don't get that when you're writing. When you're actually writing a pure piece of prose, a pure piece of writing, you don't actually get to use funny voices there. Another essential difference is that when you're speaking and it's just a pure speech, or you're writing a pure speech, you get that ha 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 moment, that time, that punchline where everybody goes, ah, that's so funny, and you might not get that in writing. When you're writing or trying to inject humor into your writing, it's a little more controlled. It's a little more like putting a smile on the face. Someone's reading and going like, oh, that's very funny. But that's all you're going to get. And you shouldn't disappoint. You shouldn't be disappointed by that. Then you get the punchlines. Now, just to explain very quickly, one of the questions in the chat box just now that Mark wasn't able to answer was, how about the ending? How about the ending? Now, a lot of callback, meaning that the end of the story recalls something that was said in the first paragraph of the writing. And that's just quite clever and quite funny. And people generally would read it and say, oh, so that's a different way of looking at the situation or looking at word. So that's speech giving. You get all that. But in writing, you don't. Oh, so the last point is you can feed off your audience. You can't know what the audience will get that in writing. Now, the first essential difference is that it's not always appropriate to be humorous, right? If you're writing a speech for a humorous speech contest, yes, but it's not always appropriate.
Harry,
think about if you're giving a funeral eulogy. Some humor, I once had.
Excuse me, Harry.
One of the
Hello, Harry. You're breaking. All right. I can see that everyone is still moving. So give me a thumbs up if everyone, you can just show that you're still moving around. So I know that, all right. All right. So everyone just be patient a little bit. I think there is some weak connections from where Harry is at this moment right now. So while waiting for Harry to get back on to our screen and join us back, in case if you have any questions, you can actually put it down into the group chat. Later, if we have time, we would try and get someone to answer the questions as well. And I hope Harry won't take too long to come back onto the stage. Otherwise, I might need to go and find my dictionaries of humor, you know, just in case I need to speak one or two to buy some time for all of you.
Anyone care to share a joke?
Yep. While we are waiting. Anything at all, anything silly, as I keep saying, let's not get too serious.
Okay, I'll start off with something that is of my favorite. What is a goldfish favorite color?
What's a goldfish? Well, the obvious answer is gold, but I'm assuming it's not. So
it's not gold. Yeah. What's a goldfish favorite color?
Red.
It's not red. It is blue.
Why blue?
Because when it's in the water, the fish always go blue, 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 blue.
Good one, good one. I like that. That's the kind of likeness.
That's a very direct.
Wow, dynamite.
Good one.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
It's easy to go to. What would one volcano talk to another volcano? What does one volcano speaks to another volcano about?
Lava, Java, I don't know.
Kababum, no. Lava, Java, quite close. One volcano would be speaking to another volcano by telling them, I lava you.
I lava you, all right.
Oh, lava.
I love you.
I love you. I love you.
This joke was actually being introduced to me from a 6 years old last year. and it got me cracking, so I kept it in my dictionary. Okay, in case if anyone needs some entertainment, I can come in. And that's 2 jokes already. If Harry doesn't come back on time, I might humiliate myself with a lot of self-deprecating humor, you know. Miranda, when I agreed to take on this job, right?
Yeah, may I say, this may not sound too funny, but when there was an accident of a space shuttle many years ago back in Florida, my American friends always says, now NASA stands for needs another 7 astronauts.
Ah, right.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, Mark, that would be satire. That would be like a dark humor.
Yeah, that's right. Exactly.
That's dark humor.
Yes, that's right.
It's in the same line of our brand of shoes, right? Bata, B-A-T-A. It's a brand. You don't buy Nike, you buy, but always buy Nike, don't buy Bata, because you buy and throw away. I'm not spending more money.
Harry's back.
Oh, Harry's back.
All right, I can see Harry is back. Harry, you're here to save my life.
Wow, okay.
Please, I mean, sorry about that. The gods of internet are not smart.
Oh dear.
Oh.
Hi, Harry.
Everyone, would you be able to do me a favor? I know I asked for everyone to turn on your video, but at this moment, can everyone turn it off for a while so that we can try and get, you know, some more bandwidth for Harry? And Harry, don't worry, we'll be turning it off so that you have, hopefully this will help you out a little bit. Harry, you're muted. I can't hear you.
Harry, you're muted.
Is it better?
Yes,
Am I
can hear you
audible now?
You are audible.
Okay, so let me sort of this. Okay. Can you hear me now?
You're still breaking a little.
So this is what I'm going to do. Right.
disconnect me by actually disconnect me by sharing screen. Thank you very much, Lai. So let's keep down to where we're now. Right. Now I know that one principle of performance is asking, but it's a bad example to see this Zoom play. So this is my feeble. Now I myself can't see what's on the Zoom. Right. As I was saying, you feed off the audience, kind of know what of the audience is, but you don't in get that. And
Harry, your voice is still breaking.
I could suggest
Maybe Harry
he could type out what he wants us to do.
Yep, Harry, maybe you can type it out. We can try and assist you as well.
It takes a lot of right. Sharing screen line is help. Right, it takes a lot of wit to be able to do it. So I tell you, to the next slide. Do the next slide. Don't worry, these things happen. We'll smile and we'll smile with you, right? Doesn't matter. What can we do? Can you share? Can you share my slide, please?
I'm already sharing it, Harry.
Okay, I can't see what's on my screen. What does it say?
Decide the theory, decide your big idea or theme. Hello, Harry?
Are you able to make a phone call?
Yeah,
Harry?
I was going to say, Harry, can you just call Miranda on your
And
phone?
she should put it on a speaker or something. I don't know if that works.
All right, everyone.
Let's just carry on. Doesn't matter. We can live without the tech. We will do it and we will still have lots. Let's go directly to what I do when I'm writing the speech. I mean, someone asked Mark just now, and he said he had a lot of help from people. When I do my humorous speeches, I actually write them myself and I test them out on friends. But here's my 1, 2, 3 parts of writing a speech. And this is what
Harry, are you still there with us? All right, everyone, apologize on behalf. I think the internet is not on Harry's side at this moment right now. So just stay calm. We will try and get Harry back on the stage as soon as possible. Right.
Maybe he could call you on a regular telephone line and speak on speaker, maybe.
Yep, I'll try to get him to drop him a message.
Yep.
So I'll wait for Harry to pick that up. And at the meantime, I think we have a very good question popping into the group chat. Maybe I can pass this question to Mark. Mark, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Yes, Mark. We have a questions while waiting for Harry. We have a questions from Yanni. And she asked, how important is it to end a humorous speech with a moral or a message? And how can we have a message without sounding suddenly too serious? So it's a two-part question.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Actually, Control Myself is my speech title, or was my speech title, and was my message. So I ended with Control Myself. I repeated Control Myself 4 or 5 times. And the idea came not from my mind, but from Yoko, the woman that I really loved. And she was so-called guru, and it was an epiphany. She told me to control myself many times, but I didn't change. Toward the end, I ended the speech with control myself. And after that, everybody would wonder, did Mark already, can Mark now control himself? Or what happened to Yoko and Mark? So
is
that
it important to have one?
Ideal ending. To end the speech with message. There are 2 opinions in Europe and in America. Many seasoned Toastmasters, Group A says, even humorous speeches need to be message-centric and should have good ending, hopeful ending, because the best speaker or the winner of the 2013 All Continental European Humorous Speech Contest, Mel, also ended with happy atmosphere. He was jilted by the same girlfriend 3 times, but eventually he succeeded. I'll marry you, Mel. Oh, so she is right over there as my wife watching me speak or something like that. Everybody cheered. In my case, I ended with such stupidity. So there was no hope. Everybody laughed like hell. Hey, Mark is a goofy guy. Therefore, I think even if that is a humorous speech contest, if possible, it will be a good idea and even necessary to make it message-centric and turn things for the better. It will be a wonderful gesture or the better service as the speaker to the audience members to end your speech with upward tone. Because ending with a misery might be interesting, but for the time being, but in long run, it wouldn't do any good to people's mind, I think.
All right. Thank you so much, Mark. Yanni, I hope you got the answers from Mark as well. So thank you, Mark. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I got the message from Harry. Apparently, I think it's the connections in general that is not working at this moment right now. But don't worry, Harry has already passed us the slides. So what we would do is we will proceed on with this slide because Harry actually has prepared some activity for us as well that we would have to go into a breakout room. So on the screen right now, if you see it, there is actually the theory that Harry would like to bring on as a message to us. So can you click on it as well? Click one more time. And one more click on the slides to next. And then next. And then next. And then next. And then next. Yes, okay.
All
so
right.
Going back.
So here we are. Here is more theory. Okay, I'm going to be kicked out again. This is like, not really getting to a great place, but let's try to get there, okay? So here's more theory. When you're writing, a very good way to think about it is consider generational differences. Think about different, like I'm old. I was, oh, sorry, I think I'm back even on the computer. I'll let my daughter do that and I'll just carry on. Now you consider generational differences, and that basically means I should be making fun of myself being old and other people being young. So I could say, for example, I am so old that a window was something you opened. And perhaps I would write, I come from a time when apple was just a fruit, right? So something like that, generational differences. Now, another thing you could be writing about, let's go to the next, could you click it? Yeah, what does the audience have in common? Now, as Toastmasters, we know that the audience is very important.
And one clear acronym that you could use when you are writing and putting humor in writing is MAP, right? M stands for the medium, A stands for the audience, and P, the purpose. Why are you injecting humor into this particular speech? Now, there's situational and observational humor. So as Jai has pointed out, there are many different kinds of humor that you can inject when you're writing a speech, right? Let's go to the next slide. I'm so sorry I'm sliding this out and I'm going very fast. I want to get to the orgasmic peak as fast as I can before I get kicked out of the room. So this is my way, which I would introduce to you, and you have to listen very carefully, simply because you are going to do this after I get kicked out of the room again. So the first step is to decide on a topic and the subtopics, right? You don't sit down at your computer and start writing. And I'm talking about writing a great humorous speech, okay? There are humorous speeches and speeches which are basically injecting humor, but the speech is actually about information. So that's different. Here we're talking about writing a humorous speech. And the reason why I'm doing this is because I want to encourage as many of you to take part in the humorous speech contest as possible. So here's the first step: decide on a topic and a subtopic. Second, you research for quotes and anecdotes. As usual, we have Uncle Google. So all you need to do is basically go to Google and search for funny quotes and stories about the topic that you have chosen. Then the third part of the speech, or speech writing, or speeching as I call it, is writing, editing, and practice. So here is how I will challenge you before I get kicked out again. Actually, the biggest challenge for me is actually just getting bloody onto the Zoom room. Let's go to the next slide, Lai. Thank you. Click it once, right? Could someone please tell me what's on the first slide? You are going to outline a humorous speech in the next 15 minutes. You will have 1 minute individually to think about the choice of topics. And I've chosen topics for you, so you don't get a choice except for one of these topics. And the topics are dieting, dating, dying, delivery by online delivery guys, dyslexia, or diseases. As I said, I just simply picked out words that started with D just to make it a bigger challenge. So can I ask everyone in this room for 30 seconds, decide which of these topics you want to try to write an outline about. Go ahead, I'll give you 30 seconds and I will redo my Zoom room. Thank you. 30 seconds, go ahead. So let's get out of this one because it seems to be working. Or let's not leave meeting. Shall we just like mute and keep it just in case this. Right, can I just check? What have you chosen? Florence, what have you chosen? Florence.
Hi.
What have you chosen to write about? Very quickly.
Dating.
Okay, and Purwanto, what was your choice? Don't turn it off. Just Purwanto, what's your choice? What are you planning to write about? You had choices, all starting with D. Which are you going to choose?
You are asking me?
Okay. Come on, it's dyslexia. They're all there. Okay. Dyslexia, disease. So everyone choose one. Time is up for choosing. You need to choose one. Now, the next thing you do, listen to my instructions. Listen very carefully.
You are going to spend 5 minutes. Now I'm going to only give you 4 minutes because we don't have time. Thanks to Mr. Zoom, thanks to Telkomsel, right? You are going to have 4 minutes to do some research. And what I want you to do is to research either of the Google search functions. Either you do funny quotes on dyslexia, for example, or funny quotes on dieting, or funny stories on. And I want everyone now to open a new tab in your computer, and I'd like you to Google search funny quotes on the title or the subject that you have chosen in the last minute. So go ahead and do that, everyone. Caroline, what have you chosen just for my interest?
Dying.
Okay, fantastic. So when you do funny quotes, do you get anything? Is there anything you can see? Now, what you want to do is when you find all these funny quotes, what you want to do is actually copy and paste those that you think are funny. Those that you think, okay, I can deliver this quite well. Don't worry about the story. Don't worry about your speech. What you're doing at this stage is just getting ideas. So go and copy and paste all of this onto either a Google Doc or your Word doc. And this is how I do it. I craft a speech, or I do speeching really, really fast. I just see what's out there. Nothing that I do is original. That is the truth. In fact, most of human thought is quite unoriginal, okay? So give you a few seconds. Look at what you have.
Harry, you are muted.
Harry, you're muted.
Harry,
Harry,
unmute
muted.
yourself.
Harry.
You're
You
muted.
need to unmute yourself.
That is weird. He has some issues with that.
You're still muted, Harry. I think you need to unmute yourself.
I know nothing's working. It's like one of those days, you know. It's one of those days.
It's working now, Harry.
I
It's
know,
working.
I
We
know.
can-
Don't worry. Don't jinx it. Don't jinx it. Don't jinx
Okay.
it. Before I get knocked out of the Zoom again. Right. Now, as you are looking at your copy and paste, now take a step back and look at all the stuff that you found. Some things you think, okay, this is a funny quote. This is a great thing that I can use. You kind of get a sense of where your speech is going to. So for example, when I was doing my humorous speech on dieting, I just simply had to find 5 weird diets. I knew I had to give a 7-minute speech, so I went and looked for 5 weird diets. and I'd use that as the raw material. So now that you've got all this raw material, this is what we're going to do now. Can you click, Mr. Lai? Could you click on the next? Could you click the slide again, please? Right. This is what we're going to do. We're going to go into our breakout rooms, and you'll only spend 5 minutes there. We don't have the time because we want to finish on time. We only spend 5 minutes in the breakout rooms. And in your breakout rooms, I want you to share the ideas that you have found and decide which one worked best for your people in the breakout rooms, for your workmates. So sort of like pitch your ideas. I'm going to talk about dyslexia. And I found these quotes and I thought they were quite nice. And this is how I would craft my speech. This is how I would do speeching. This is what my speech is. Now, remember, what we're working on tonight is only the outline. It's impossible to write a speech in 15 minutes. So what you want to do is I want to start you on the process of actually writing a great humorous speech. Okay. So together with us tonight, we have so many great, super people in the audience. So I'm going to put us in, let's see, 7 breakout rooms. Miranda, is that correct? Mr. Lai, is that right?
Yes.
Right. So we're going to have 7 breakout rooms. Now, when you get to the breakout rooms, one of the speakers will be there. One of our panelists will be there. And we will be there to help you, to encourage you to share the ideas about your outline. All right? And that's the whole idea. Now, as you're listening to other people and as you are pitching your idea, you want to be able to decide on 1 or 2 people that you thought, oh, this is a good outline. This is a good outline for a speech. This will work. You can develop it further. And then we'll all come back again, and then we will share as a big main room. Right? Great. So only 5 minutes, Miranda. I'm sorry. Thank you for your patience, everyone. We don't really have the time. So I'll ask Mr. Lai to please open the breakout rooms, and then see you guys back here, and good luck with your outlines of your speech. Go ahead.
Okay, I will assign everybody now. Get ready.
Okay.
Wait.
So fast.
Hi, everyone. Yes, we didn't have the time, thanks to Telkomsel. Thanks to Telkomsel. I was in a group, and it was great because so many of the people had ideas, and there was a cross-pollination, cross-insemination. People would say, oh, that's a good idea, but maybe you could do this and maybe you could do that. There was a lady there who said, I'm going to make a different distinction between being single and being a couple now. And we said, well, I was so desperate when I was single that I bought a separate hand phone and I had to WhatsApp myself love messages just so that I could feel as if I was a couple. So great job, everyone. I'm so sorry we don't have the time. I mean, if this was like a 2-hour session, I would have been happy to, you know, to go to each and every individual one of you, right? And help you with your speeches. So
Harry,
yes.
I have a suggestion, and
Sure.
I don't know how Alan feels about this. I wonder if if people are willing to extend 10 minutes or 15 minutes past 9 p.m. because I think it's such a great material to be rushed and we don't get the whole thing. Yeah, Alan, what do you think? Can we take a vote or how do we handle this? Maybe at 15 minutes?
Just use the raise icon hand if you agree for the extension.
Yeah.
Yep, that's a good idea.
Just raise your hands.
Okay, I'm
If
going to
you
raise
want
my
an
hand. I don't
extension,
mind.
I'm going to raise my hand.
I don't mind. This sounds fun. Lots of people have great ideas.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so let's extend this then.
Yes,
So shall we go back into, I don't think we should go back into our rooms again. I think everyone kind of understands where I'm coming from. My message is very clear. So let me just encapsulate my message again, and then we'll have a Q&A, a longer Q&A. Is that good, Miranda? Would that be better?
Yeah, or maybe like 2 examples more or something like that, so we can all have a laugh.
Fantastic. So here's where just to repeat. Let me repeat what my method is. Now, mine is not the only method. You could go and pay a speechwriter, or you could copy material and modify it online from YouTube. But my method is basically, I always start with a topic, and I decide whether my topic is going to be self-deprecating. So I always write about being an outsider, because I am an outsider. I'm always an outsider. Can you imagine? I was born in Indonesia. I am half Indonesian. And yet I went to a Chinese school, not a Chinese school, but a school in China. So in front of me, there'll be a Ching. Behind me, there's a Chong. On my left, there's a Cheng. The right, my Chung. And in the center, there's a Hari. Oh my God. I mean, I was always the outsider. So I would always write about me being different. I would always write about when I'm writing or writing a speech, I always write about me being fat at my peak, my best non-Tom Cruise body. I was 128 kilograms light, 128 kilograms light. Can you imagine that? So I would always make jokes about how fat I was. I lost a lot of weight, so I also wrote speeches on dieting because I know a lot about dieting. Now I am a trim 95 kilograms. For some of you, that might not be light, but for me and people who meet me like, Harry, have you been sick? Why are you so thin? And yet I'm 95 kilograms. And it's self-deprecating humor. So you pick a topic. You start by picking a topic. Do not wander aimlessly in the wilderness for 40 days and 40 nights trying to find a topic. It's not going to, there's not going to be some bright light or burning bush that's going to talk to you and say, oh, this is a topic you should write about. No, it doesn't work that way. You pick a topic, and you pick a topic either self-deprecating or situational. Situational, let me give you an off-the-cuff example. Jai, are you there?
Yes, Harry, right here.
You could perhaps write, let's say if I was Jai, I could say, well, I was on the MRT in Singapore the other day, and they had these special seats for the disabled. So naturally, I sat down in the disabled seat. Suddenly, this other man came and started kicking me and saying, get off my seat, get off my seat. Why, you don't know, you got no polite. I want to sit here. I'm blind. Of course, he couldn't see Jai either, right? But he couldn't see me either. So it was the blind leading the blind, having an argument about who could get the disabled seat. So a situational kind of thing. And you can get situational ideas either from watching the television or listening to something on YouTube. You say, okay, I've had a similar experience. I could turn that into a speech. So the first step is always picking a topic. You pick a topic. Then the second step is to cheat. You cheat by doing Google searches. Funny quotes. We had a very funny quote on planting just now in my group. Someone was going to write a speech. She just thought, okay, I'm going to do planting because I like gardening. And she got a funny quote about gardening. And that was fantastic. So you start cheating. You start looking for the one-liners that bring that smile in your speech, right? Now, once you've copied and pasted lots of stuff on one doc, then you look from the top to the bottom. Which can I put together to string together to make some kind of story? What kind of story can I craft based on what's there? Okay, and then you write your speech. So before I get kicked out, okay, I'm going to be very quiet. So before I get kicked out of the room, I will now hand it back to Alan, and let's do a big question and answer session for everybody, whether about my session or anyone else's session. Go ahead, Alan.
All right, everyone. Today is definitely an interesting day. So they talk about self-deprecating throughout the whole sessions. Now we not only have self-deprecating, we're self-sabotaging as well. And then we try to self-motivate ourselves to come back onto this workshop. All right. So everyone, you know what? Let's open it up for more Q&A. Drop your questions into the group chat. Drop your questions in the group chat. I will make sure I pass the questions to our respective presenter for today. We have Jai, we have Mark, and then we have Harry as well. Any questions that you have in mind that can help you to draft that humorous speech, that can help you to improve on your delivery, and most important of all, I think, allows you to have that confidence that now I can do slightly better when it comes to humor. We would have 8 minutes maximum for all the Q&A before we move on to closing of the events, and I would lead up on some administrations as well. So everyone, anyone have any questions, just quickly put into the group chat, or you can unmute yourself. Okay, so I got a question from Miranda. Harry, are you there, Harry? Let me make sure that Harry is here before I shoot the questions. All right, Harry is not in this room at this moment. All right, so do we have any other? Oh, Harry is here.
I have a question for Mark.
Yes, Jai, question. Oh, Jai, you have a question for Mark. Yes.
Yes, sorry, while we wait for Harry. Mark, quick question.
Yes.
Yeah, so this is related to my sharing earlier. Do you actually every day look out for something that's funny and make a note of it? What kind of database do you create every day?
Well, actually, I have started to do that after your workshop the other day in Japan.
Oh.
And some kind of heads-up like how I was goofy. And also I expected this to happen, but I missed the train or I couldn't catch the taxi and etc. What I said really was perceived differently by another person and etc. So I started to take notes and it works. Thank you very much.
It works. I know it works.
Thank you. So everyone, you learn a tip. You learn a tip from both our presenter. Prepare an idea bank. Okay, bring along with you a post-it note or a 555 bin note, whatever it is. Small book. Use your phone. Anytime a brilliant idea pops up, write it in, write it down, take note of it. There is no, there is no not funny idea. Whatever you have, just put it in first.
Yeah, and also a voice recorder, small notebooks, and etc. Because good ideas could be lost if you do not keep it, memorize it. Take a minute.
And good ideas usually pops up when you are at the most relaxed moment and you least expect it. So that when you have it,
that's
remember
right.
to catch
Yeah.
it.
So Confucius said that, if I remember correctly. Yes, that's right. That's very true. when I was at the wheel, oh my God, this is a great idea. But when I got home, oh, I forgot. What was that?
Be
And when
careful,
I'm taking
everyone.
a shower, again, it comes back. Oh,
Exactly.
but I forgot again. And when I'm about to fall asleep, I again recollect it. And before trying to record it, I fall asleep. It happens like that. That's wasteful. It's necessary for us to always stay ready. Stay ready. Yeah. Stay ready.
Harry's back.
It's a good tip. Yes, Harry is back.
I'm back. Hi. No, actually, I would like to see one or two of the products and outlines. I'm told that Purwanto has quite a good outline. Purwanto, would you like to share your outline with us? And then maybe everyone here can critique or give you some suggestions on directions to take. Go ahead, Purwanto.
Okay. Sometimes I found dieting and dating can be friend or can be enemy. It depends. Depends to who you date for. So if you date with the good girl, maybe they will help you to gain more weight. And if you dating the bad girl, maybe they will eat all the food you have. So you may lose your weight. And speaking about losing weight, it's not that always easy. Sometimes I need to go to exercise. And after a month, I go exercising. I found again my weight. Where? In refrigerator. So I think that's all.
That's good. How would you develop this? I love this idea of dieting and dating being interrelated. So maybe you could say, if it was me, I would say, ladies and gentlemen, in physics and chemistry, we have the Boyle's law, which means that the higher the volume, the higher the pressure on a gas, the lower the volume. Ladies and gentlemen, Toastmasters, in my case, I have Purwanto's law of dating. The higher the kilogram, the more the number of girlfriends I have is directly proportional or indirectly proportional to the number of kilograms that I'm carrying around my waist. Something like that, you know? Was that too complicated? I would say the wordings need to change, but basically, you know, I would show like a relationship. So the fatter I am, the less girlfriends I have, and the thinner I am, the more girlfriends I seem to attract. So that would be a very interesting way to perhaps start a humorous speech. Thanks, Purwanto. That was fantastic. Any of the other moderators or facilitators would like to add to that and give Purwanto some ideas? Jai, you're always good with this sort of thing.
Well, yeah. I'm just thinking, where could he go with it? I mean, some parts of what he was saying, I kind of found a bit hard to catch.
Okay.
So, I mean, I'm going with...
Well, the number of girlfriends I have is inversely proportional to the weight that I carry.
Yeah, I got that, Harry.
How heavy I weigh.
Sorry,
okay.
I didn't mean yours. I meant Purwanto's.
Purwanto's. Okay.
I found some parts I didn't understand what he was saying. So,
go ahead.
Yeah.
Sure.
About dating and dieting.
Yep. Can we get Mark to comment, maybe?
Mark, would you like to comment on that outline? Where would you have taken it?
Oh, yeah.
Where would you have taken that?
Oh, it's a little bit sudden and well, yeah. Well, maybe I'm not answering your question, maybe, but well, I actually fell in love on many, many occasions. I'm foolhardy. Go for broke is my motto. And I dated so many girls and I had so many stupid stories. And the more I talk about it, more accustomed I talk about that kind of funny stories. And well, especially as for strangers, somebody who looks like me starts talking about that kind of thing would sound very much funny. Well, I'm sorry. I may not be answering a question, but I think, Harry, your idea is great.
Thank you, and thank you for sharing that.
Harry, I have an idea.
That might, yeah. Go ahead, guys.
Oh, no, sorry, just quickly, so that I would probably go along the lines of something like this. What's the date today? Oh, it's a Monday. Oh, I diet on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Then I would go with, oh, who's my date tonight? Oh, I better go on a diet. She's always told me that I look a little too chubby. So I play in the word of what is the date and who is my date?
That's great. That's great. That's very witty. Puwantu, I hope you're taking notes, and everyone else is taking notes as to how you can then you should be using words and using synonyms and homonyms, like the hype joke. Like the simplest one I can think of offhand is my doctor put me on a seafood diet, and I love it because whenever I see food, I eat it. Something silly like that. That's always a very easy joke.
I heard that in my breakup. Yeah, Harry, may I just say one thing?
Go ahead.
Well, I've been dieting for 32 years, so I know much more about how to diet than anybody else or something. Or I stopped gambling, but James, you are a pathological gambler. But I stopped gambling, Mark. How can you say that, James? I can bet my bottom dollar on that this time, Mark. So he's still gambling or something like that. Sorry, my jokes are not good.
No, that's a great joke. Let me give you another idea on dieting. One of the things I talked about in dieting was the tapeworm diet. The tapeworm diet. And basically, I told the audience that you would buy these pills of eggs, of tapeworms, and then you would eat them. And these tapeworms would hatch in your intestines. And you can eat anything you want because the tapeworms, the caching, will eat all of the food that you actually ingest. But then I posed the question, how do you get the tapeworms out? There are only two openings, one at the top and one at the bottom. And I did not relish having the extraction process of the tapeworms come out. So I decided never to do the tapeworm diet. Okay, so something like that. These are the stories I didn't find. It wasn't original and it isn't true in my case, but I found it online. And another thing I found online was another kind of diet that I found online was in the 1920s. Cigarette smoking was actually recommended as a good dieting procedure. You could smoke a cigarette and that would be part of your diet because it takes the taste out of your mouth and you would naturally eat less. So that's something that I found very interesting, and I've managed to weave it into a humorous speech. Okay. Would anyone else in this room, since we have a little more time, would anyone else in this room like to share their outline that they did in the last 6-7 minutes? Go ahead. Maybe Alan, you could choose someone.
We have someone. Let's. I got some nominations. In fact, 2 nominations. We'll go with these 2 nominations before we end this particular segment. Can we go with Florence? I heard Florence have some good materials, and then we also have Abel as well. So Florence, are you there with us?
Florence, hi, Florence. Go ahead, pitch it.
Hi, Florence.
Ooh. Hi.
Yeah.
Hi, hello. Would you share with us what you have come up with, your outline?
Hold on, yeah.
And right after Florence, we would have Abel. So Abel, you can get ready to share with us what you have
Can I
written.
pass to Abel first? I'm quite blur.
Okay, I'll give it a go.
All right, Abel, let's go.
Yeah, I still remember in early of 2021. Sorry, I maybe no video for me. I just speak, right? Okay.
Yeah.
So in the beginning of 2021, I make a resolution to reduce my weight and go on dieting. Then I asked my doctor, and my doctor gave me a good advice. He says, if the food tastes good, just spit it out. And he warned me, doing more and more. And he said, well, I have some warning for you. The older you get, it gets tougher to lose weight because by then your body and your fat are really good friends. So now we are at the end of the year. I realized that this dieting program has failed miserably. Instead of losing weight, I'm gaining weight. And the reason is because I love my six-pack so much that I have to protect it with a layer of fat. And looking back, I wish I could lose my weight as easy as I lost my keys, my pen, my cell phone, my temper, and even my mind. Thank goodness with all this COVID. Right? And
I love
one
that
tip for
last
every one
line.
of you is I highly recommend worrying because it's just much more effective than dieting. Okay, that's all for me.
What was
Thank
the
you very much,
recommendation?
Abel.
That
What
was
was the recommendation,
excellent.
Abel?
Recommend worrying. When you worry, but some people
Oh,
gain weight.
worrying, worrying.
Yeah, some people
Yeah.
gain weight because they eat junk food, right?
I
that's all
think
for me.
I think that's an excellent start. That's an excellent start. I think he deserves a round of applause for that. Everyone, come on. That was excellent. Let's go to, can we go with Abel? Lucu Scali. Very, very good. Abel, was it Abel? Alan, did I get the
That was
name right?
Abel,
Yeah.
and then
Go
now
ahead.
we're gonna go
Oh,
for
that was
Florence.
Abel. So now let's go back to Florence. Florence,
Yep.
floor is yours.
Is it the
Florence.
story on the dating, right? As for my topic?
Yep.
Sure, go ahead.
Yeah, okay. While I was young, I used to follow my sisters or brothers to attend wedding. So usually at night, they have these sessions, what we have a live band. And usually when it comes to the slow music, they will off the light. So last time there was no dim light, so it's totally dark. So usually all the old people upstairs came down and used the torchlight. What you all doing? What you all doing? So, well, should we consider it as the dating? It's always being distracted by the light from our moms or from our dad. So it's quite funny.
Good start. Anyone wants to comment or take in a further direction? Marco.
Well, I heard the first version, Florence, and you talk about 30 years of dating experience. I don't know how. So I thought that was very funny.
Yes, and it is a true story anyway.
Okay, great.
I have
So
an
yeah.
idea for Abel. Sorry, the previous speaker, Abel.
Yeah, go ahead.
I have an idea if Abel can hear me. You could start by saying, I went up to my doctor and asked him, do you have any simple exercise for dieting? And the doctor said, yes, just turn your neck slowly to the left and then to the right 3 times. And I said, wow, as simple as that. When do I do that? Whenever someone invites you to eat.
That's a good one.
Good. Yep. I, you know, if you're talking about, let's say, having children, I just want to share just one very cute one that I've used before. You know, when you're talking about birth control, and they always say that the best birth control pills to get is actually Panadol. Panadol, just paracetamol, is the best birth control pill. And you might ask why, and the answer is very simple. If you take one Panadol and you put it between your knees and you keep your knees closed and make sure the Panadol doesn't fall down to the ground, you will never get pregnant. It's the best contraceptive of all, Panadol. Well, with that note, back to you, Alan. And I suppose we're done, or if you have time for more
Yep.
questions, go ahead.
Thank you, Harry. Everyone, let's give a round of applause. Let's give some heart shape. Let's give some heart, and let's give some thumbs up to Harry. So everyone, we have been through a very interesting workshop for today. We started off by listening to Jai when he teaches us about how we could see or how we could find humor in our everyday life. All the 5 different assets that he talked about, like the slapstick, situational, self-deprecating, setup, surprises, and even satire. And we were able to see how that can be incorporated in a speech when Mark delivered his contest speech as well. And over a series of Q&A where Mark has actually very patiently answered 10 different questions from all the audiences, we pick up a lot of more nuggets as well from that sharing. And right after that, we have some learnings from Harry as well, even though there was some interruptions in between. But I think all of you definitely picked up something that you were able to apply and try it out in the breakout room. If there's anything that I would like to share with all of you would be, there is no overnight success, especially when it comes to humor. Humor is a very important thing for all of us to learn because it helps us in many different ways, whether it is in conflict, whether it is in terms of building relationship or bonding. And that's the reason why we always invest in our own time to learn and listen to different people, sharing with us different perspectives on how to write humorous speech. So the learning does not stop here. In fact, this is just another chapter to our learning in terms of how we can become better as a speaker. So I hope all of you enjoyed today's, especially this evening session. And if you do, please put in the group chat, say thank you to all our speakers. Just type in thank you so that I think our speaker would definitely appreciate it, because in Toastmasters, we always try to keep it very supportive, and we always want to appreciate people who actually take their time out to ensure that we learn. And what's the best way to end the session other than inviting our training chair to give us a closing remark? And with that, I would like to hand the control over to Miranda for your closing remark for this particular workshop. Over to you, Miranda.
Thank you, Alan. Well, I'm just going to be very brief. This has been you guys are enjoying it. I can see the face, the laughters, and imagine I had a lot of fun just organizing and preparing and planning with this and with all the speakers and the facilitators. So thank you again so much to Jay, Mark, Harry, and then Ellen, excellent emceeing Ellen. And then of course, there's Sly, there's Lynette, and then there is Manoj with the timer. And also we cannot forget Jay's other's half, Sharmini. You probably have heard her voice. So that is like, Jay's eyes and Jay's heart. So thank you everybody for coming and for showing up. I know today has been a very busy day and busy week. I know there's a lot of contest, and just a lot of thank you for you. And I hope you enjoy that. And when you give your feedback, share with us what you found, what you like, and then maybe make suggestion for something else that we can do together. And special thank you also I want to give to Mark, coming all the way from Japan. And after one look, I am not Yoko, but I think it was destiny for us to meet and to brought you here. So thank you again, everybody. Back to you, Alan.
All right, thank you, Miranda, for organizing this for everyone so that we all can learn from each other. And everyone, I have dropped the link. It is a feedback form, so it'll be very nice of all of you to at least click on the link, and later on you'll be able to provide us feedback. Feedback are breakfast for champions, and it's very important for all of us to also learn and find out how we can do even better in our future workshop. So we can see that we have very eager participants already, Susilo, like asking when is the next session. So I'll let you hold on to that. Let Miranda catch some breather first. All right, we still need more training in the second half of the term. This is still the first half of the term. So everyone just click on the link for the feedback form. Later on, fill it in, and we will be compiling all the feedback as well. But for now, I think it is time for us to let all of you go. We promised to go over by 15 minutes, and now it is almost time. So before we say anything, I just want
I need
to.
to add something. I need to add something with the feedback form. You know, some of you are asking for the recording. So we will send the recording for those only who attend. And the only way we can know you attend if you fill out this form, fill out this feedback, and also for you to get the district training credit if you want one towards your Triple Crown Awards. So yeah, back to you, Alan.
Thank you. So everyone, the feedback form, remember to put in your email address so that we can share the recording with you. And on behalf of the team, on behalf of all the backstage team, Lai, Manoj, Lynette, and also Miranda for organizing, and to all our presenters, Jai with help of Sham, and also Harry, and also especially Mark all the way from Japan. We would like to say thank you very much. We really appreciate your attendance for today and your listening to our workshop. And I hope this has been a wonderful session. We hope to see all of you very soon. And until then, stay safe, take care, and good night for now.
Good night, everybody.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Thank you.